What's poppin', ladies? It is day 4 of the Blaze Virtual Summit. And if anybody is thirsty on Thirsty Thursday, we about to have these women quench your thirst with a whole bunch of knowledge, a whole bunch of swag. I love these ladies. And a whole bunch of honest talk about safety and belonging in Web3, right? The world is changing before our eyes, and we have to make sure that Web3 adoption is about more than just money, man. Like, we got to start showing up in spaces that are safe for us, right? Where we belong and we truly do have skin in the game that we get reward from. So I'm going to kick it over to these ladies. Please do tell us what you do, right? And who you do it for. Let's start with you, Monet.
So it's the Crypto Duchess here. You guys maybe have seen me before. If not, it's cool. You're about to learn me today. So I have a Web3 tech firm, and I specialize in onboarding individuals as well as corporations into the Web3 space. My firm also deals with product pricing and marketing, and also data analytics. I've been featured in Time Magazine, Benzinga, and I actually have been named a Rug Radio host. So I will have my own show coming out. And I know I didn't mention this before, but I have a show coming out called Decentralized Combos, and I'll be in Art Basel, Miami for a week covering all of the amazing events that are coming up, including Supercars and Caviar, Metaverse Miami, Decentral, and I'll be speaking at Web3 Summit. And I do this for the culture. I do this for the future generations to come. I do this for the little Black girls and little Black boys that were told no and that weren't allowed into different spaces, like myself, that had to fight to really break down these barriers and these doors. I've been in this space for a very long time, for over a decade. And honestly, I welcome you guys with open arms, you ladies with open arms. You know, that's my spiel. I'm going to get off my soapbox. What's up, Alana?
What's up? What's up? This is such a rewarding space to be in. I'm just saying thank you again for even allowing me to be a part of something like this. I love seeing how well Black women mobilize community, which is why I'm so excited for this panel today. Well, my name's Alana. I go by Afro Butterfly, and I'm a retired ICU nurse. I did that for 13 years, and I found my way into the tech space. Web3 has become a passion for me. A lot of what I do on a day-to-day basis is create pathways for individuals to get skills, tangible skills inside of this space, whether it's teaching them about cloud services and helping them get credentials in that way, hosting hackathons and helping them upskill in person and in real time, doing tutorials and walkthroughs, showing them how to use wallets. What is a wallet? How do you safely and securely store your seed phrases in a stone book? I also do a lot of traveling and speaking engagements. I'm so honored. Just this past weekend, I was on Tavis Smiley's radio show with Naja Roberts, ahead of the curve. Upcoming, I'll be doing a panel at Atlanta Blockchain Center, and I'll be talking about Web 2 to Web 3 pathways alongside Angela Brasington, Unstoppable Domains, and Hedera Hashgrab. I'll also be at Afrotech coming up, so I'm definitely going to see you there, Crypto Duchess. I also will see you at Decentral, and I also will see you at Art Basel, so we're going to have to link up, sis. It's such a beautiful time to be inside of this space, because where you get the most knowledge and experience is boot around. So I'm determined to be that right now. I know a lot of us in this community can't really physically be a lot of the places we want, so I'm blessed to have that opportunity, so that's what I do. Digital Green Book is my edtech startup. We focus on Web 2 to Web education. I'm so honored that we've been accepted into 2 accelerators. One is Jax Bridges. It's hosted by the Jacksonville Chamber of Commerce here in my hometown of Jacksonville, Florida. And the other is NASDAQ. As someone who does technical chart analysis, being in the NASDAQ accelerator is like such a humongous privilege. I tear up when I think about it sometimes. When I think about where I was just a few short years ago to all the blessings that I have in my lap now. But that's me in a nutshell, quirky Black girl in a Web 2, Web 3 world. That's me.
And one thing I have to say about both of these ladies is that they are real. Like, it feels good holding space with them. Every single time we connect, it feels good. There's no gatekeeping, there's no fronting, right? Like there's no, you can't sit with me and that's everything, man. Like to have leaders like Monet and Alana is everything, because even sometimes the people that we aspire to be, right, you still know that they're untouchable. And so, man, like I give y'all all y'all's props. Y'all are changing the game for me and everybody I do it for. I tell Monet this, I'm gonna say it again on camera, like I got you, dog. If you need anything, if you need me to bark at anybody, I got you. You must be protected at all costs. So thank you all for what you do for us. It means everything. So let's dive in. Now that we know we have the true experts in the house. Web3 is here. It's not going anywhere, right? We hear a lot about the opportunities that it brings, the ceilings that it removes for some of us, right? But even though it's a deregulated space, I think it goes without saying that these new opportunities can still cause us harm as Black women, right? I can say for myself that when I first started engaging with Meta Horizons World, right? Horizon Worlds, which Facebook, aka Meta, created, immediately there were people using slander. Immediately there were people who were like reporting people and getting people sent out of worlds, right? And it was targeted though. There were like brown people, there were Black people, right? It was like a hazing going on, and there was nothing that I could do. There was nothing that I could do. So I want to know from both of you ladies, what are your concerns, if any, right, that you have as you see more and more people come inside of Web3 platforms and inside of metaverse environments? Let's start with you, Monet.
What I would say is that first and foremost, for the sake of the relationship that I have with Meta, I'm going to keep this very clean per se, but I don't condone people being hazed or thrown out of environments. I believe that we should really have a space where, like maybe even like a list of places that we feel are safe, or even building places that are safe for us as people of color, Black and brown people. Everyone's welcome, but we need to have these environments that are safe. And one company that is doing that is called Voxbox, and they are my close friends. And they're also my developers that are working on my project right now. And Voxbox, they build metaverse environments. They built something for Omega Sci-Fi. They built for Food Network. They recently built something for the government of India. So these are people of color that are building metaverse environments. And I think that it's important for us to have more of these spaces where people of color are building stuff for us, and again, it's not exclusive. Everyone's welcome, but it is built for us, by us, so that we are comfortable and we don't have to go through these instances where corporate environments, corporate metaverse environments are allowing these types of behaviors to occur. And then secondly, a problem that we have in Web3, in the Web3 space, and this is what I'm seeing, and I've been a big proponent in terms of protecting my people. And I'm not just talking about us, I'm talking about everyone in this space. There is a lot of misinformation and scamming and grifting behavior in this space. I implore you to be very careful with the people that you connect with, and just ensure that you do your research on people. Make sure that you Google people, because there has been instances recently where I've seen Black women getting scammed out of their money for services, trying to build projects and stuff, and trying to give money out to people. And then these folks would basically disappear on them. So there's instances happening right now in this space. And I implore you to just be very careful with the communities, with, any metaverse environments. Just really do your research and understand where you belong, and you'll feel it in your spirit if a person or a place isn't right for you.
Oh, like my eyes are tearing up, because it feels like auntie talking to me, right? Like Monet is big sis. She's been in this a decade, you know, like she was doing this before it was popping, right? And not only did you talk about, you know, what we should be careful of, you gave us options, right? Like I just said, there was nothing I can do. And now I have a list of things that I can do. Like, oh, that feels like auntie talking to me. Ashe. What about you, Alana? What would you say should be, or what are top concerns for you? And then what should be top of mind for us, right? As we immerse ourselves into these environments and on these platforms.
Absolutely. So as we're immersing ourselves in these platforms, there's a few notes that I had. In fact, while you were talking, Monet, I even pulled out my notepad just to make sure I could write down a few things so I could touch on each of those things, because what you're saying is 100% true. It really goes back to ownership of everything. I think that's the beauty of the space we're entering into as we talk about Web3, as we understand that blockchain technology is a public documented record of all the activity that happens inside of this space. There will be bad actors inside of this space, but it's far easier using this technology to track down where it happens and to stop it on the front end before it keeps going. That's why people even feel comfortable enough to speak up about some of those types of incidences that happen. People often ask me, why did I go from travel nursing into what I do now? And the deep parallel that I see for myself is this beautiful exploration of human will, free will, and creativity. While yes, I think there should be special attention given to those people who are using their free will, that amazing spiritual, universal, God-given gift to sometimes do not so stellar things, and we should devote some attention to that. I do want to devote more of my attention and energy to the people who are doing things to change it, like creating these own platforms just for us, like creating these safe spaces. A parallel I wanted to touch on was Twitter. I'm sure we all remember a few weeks ago or days ago that Twitter became re-owned by a certain individual and people started throwing slurs all over the place over there. We spoke up about it, we called it out. So now the onus is on us as a community. Are we going to keep continuing to use that platform? Or are we going to go create our own space where we can set our own terms of service, our own policies saying, hey, this type of behavior is not tolerated here? Because the one thing I think that we have to realize as people, whether we want to be seen as individuals or not, whether we believe we're a monolith or not, we still have to get on code to a certain level. We have to get on code to a certain degree and move as a community. So if we actually harness that power, Black people, we are a global majority. We're not a minority anything. We're a global majority. The majority of the world, Black and brown individuals. So if we harness that numbers power alone and start creating and utilizing and patronizing Black platforms, brown platforms only, these little conversations that we have would be dead in the water right now. So while I could give attention to that incident that happened or the Twitter thing that happened, I'm like, okay, well, who's the champion that has the development skills to build us out a platform? And how can we onboard as many people to that as possible, as rapidly as possible? Let's get it popping. Let's get off of it. The other thing I'll touch on right after that is community. Building a community is the biggest thing you can do to Web3. Any service, any concept, any idea you want to use inside of Web3 will be successful, lucrative and successful if you have a large following behind you. So I often tell people when they come and ask me like, oh, how do I make an NFT? How do I sell it? How do I make a bunch of money off of it? I'm like, step one, let's make sure you have your security component down pat. Have you stored your seed phrases? Do you have a wallet that you safely set up? Do you know what crypto you want to use? Those sorts of things. Those are some of the things I covered in the workshop. After you've established those individual items, I'm like, okay, say you had the most fire NFT on the world. How people gonna find out about it? Still goes back to marketing to some degree. Still goes back to, do you have a large enough community that if you drop that item, people can buy it up and you actually see a positive return from your efforts? So if we can curate a really dope community where people are ready to move because they all believe in that same initiative, you've already beat 90% of the battle. So brands, if you're out there in the Web 2 world right now, so how you're doing things currently, how you know the internet to be currently, build up your following. Build a strong relationship with your customers, your follower base, and then say, hey, y'all, let's go on this journey together. We're transitioning into this new space. Let's do this safely. Let's do this securely. We mobilize as a unit. We don't need anyone. We have agency inside of the Web3 space. We don't need anybody else. We don't need anyone else's approval. That's honestly how I feel about it. And the last note I'm going to say on that as well is with the money, the fiat system, the dollar system as we know it now, they've been scamming with that forever. I mean, we all know that proverbial image of the dude showing up with the briefcase full of money and they going down by the dock and they doing some real shady. So the fact that people are getting scammed inside of this space is strictly due to a lack of knowledge. It's strictly due to a lack of security knowledge. So if we can have more security classes on the front end of how we should safely move inside of space, that's probably the class that I do most frequently. If you can store all of those sensitive seed phrases and private keys somewhere very safely, and if you can identify what things to click on or not click on, that's 95% of the battle. Right there. If you know what looks good, if you know what looks safe, and you can avoid clicking on those scammy links, just like when we had email and you had to first learn about phishing emails. Like it could say, I'm from Walmart, and it doesn't look like it's from Walmart in any way, shape, or form. You start learning what that looks like. It's the same thing inside of this new space. They know that there's people who are naive out here. Naive's not a bad word. It just means you just don't know yet. That's it. So once you become learned inside of this space, you'll be able to move safely. So they're trying right now. People who are acting poorly inside this space are just trying to capitalize on your lack of knowledge of what's going on. So before you get caught up in the I can make money, it's a gold rush type thing, please take security classes first. Please slow down and pace yourself first. I can give you some links to my socials and things at the end if you want to go that route. But that's my piece of advice. Humans have free will, and I don't care what type of technology we own. We could be on 8D 20 years down the line. People still gonna act bad. We just have to focus on the positive and figure out how we can have agency. And then it's a new form of money. There's always gonna be people trying to scam people, but we can protect ourselves. That's my 4 cents on it. But
I say, man, say it with your chest. It said we are a global majority. Let me tell you something. Like, they have hoodwinked us into consistently using the word minority universally, right? We helping people around the world. We're like, I'm helping minorities. Who? Oh, sis? Like, how? So I love the intentional shift in perspective of understanding, especially because we're talking about the web. We're not talking about people in your backyard, bro. Like, we're literally talking about what you can do in the world from behind a phone, a VR headset, a computer, etc. This is a huge opportunity for us to lead the way. It's still a builder's market, bro. Like, and there's no reason you can't move. Like Monet was saying, like, all of us can eat. But I love that these ladies, and it's not just talk, they move like this intentionally. I love that these ladies are actually ushering other people into this. They're not trying to move so quickly that they're the only, right? They're ushering the rest of us with them. So with that, I want to dive into this concept around community, right? There was a time, I don't think enough people are accepting the fact that we're ushering out of this time, but there was a time when content was king, right? You could get on your platform and point at some words, and whoever has the best content, right, they get to sell. Well, not wake up. Like, people are desensitized to that today. Now they see you by the point, they're already scrolling, right? We see that as spam now. Why? Because community is king now, literally, right? This is why brands are trying to figure out who has the big communities. This is why they've stopped trying to like do these weird ads trying to sound black. And they like, let me just pull up on the people that already got the black community. Cause I don't know. Right. So I think the Web3 craze that's starting to bubble more and more presents a great opportunity for us to be part of community, man. We don't have to do it by ourselves, right? We can meet all of the players who can help us build our projects and do it successfully. So I love it if you ladies can tell us about some of the communities that you're a part of today, some of the communities that you highly recommend for other people to join, even if it's your own, especially if it's your own. Alana, I'll kick this to you because I know you're really, really big on this. And you even told me about a whole lot of communities.
So my first recommendation inside of the space, anywhere that you're going to go, you want to spend some time dating these people. I don't mean romantically. I mean, actually see how people are moving. What initiatives are they doing? Are there opportunities for education? Are they going to in-person events? Are they holding virtual events? Those are some of the things that you want to look for before you get involved with any community. Like with any new concept, there's new terminology to learn. So before I learned about the tech space, I was calling myself a CEO, which I technically am. But inside of the tech Web 2, Web 3 space, I'm a founder. Same thing, different word. It's going to be the same thing with community. If you're looking for communities in this new Web 3 space, most of the time you're going to hear the word DAO. And we covered terminology in the workshop, but DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. This just means a bunch of people came together, they decided they were on the same mission, and they're trying to find their way inside of this space, democratic choices together. Some DAOs are more robust and fully fleshed out than others. Some are still in their infancy, but they're hungry, they're passionate, and they're ready to go. Myself, I'm a part of about 8 DAOs because there's no limit to how many DAOs that you can join. You literally can find people who align with the things that you believe in, and depending on how they pull forces, where they choose to go, what they choose to do, if you're on board, you're on board with them. So a few of the DAOs that I know that I'm associated with, I always shout out Her DAO. That's an amazing DAO. They literally go to different conferences. They go to different upskilling workshops. They teach people how to move inside of this space. If you're knowledge deficient, they definitely put you on. 40 Acres DAO is a really dope DAO owned by 2 young Black men. They're really intentful about going to hackathons. And if you don't know what a hackathon is, basically that's an event where people come together. Sometimes there's developers working on how to create apps or projects, and even people who are non-technical, they might not be developers or things of that nature. They come and can participate in a research capacity. So say we're on a team, I'm the developer, you're a non-developer, and we want to make an app that helps us find hamburgers. I'm making the code to build out the app, to build the hamburger app, and you're like, okay, here's what's in the hamburger, bro. This, the best bread. Here's what. So you're feeding me the information so I can build out the best possible app. That's just an example, one setup inside of a hackathon. So I recommend those as events as well for people to go to if they really want to get their feet wet inside. One of the main networks I'm connected with now, I'm an affiliate partner with, is Black Web 3. So if you want to learn more about Black Web 3, feel free to join the email list. It's blkweb3.com. That's a whole bunch of professional people inside of the Black Web 3 space. We come together, we go to different events. I've probably gone to about 3 events with them now. Most recently, we were in Colombia for DevCon for Ethereum. That was a super fun hackathon. In addition, we went to NearCon in Portugal, which was just about a month ago. That was a blast. I'll be with them at the other events that I mentioned, the Central Art Basel. But inside of these communities, you can find a bunch of talented people. We endorse people doing their own thing, but still being a part of a central hub where we can share information to make sure no one's getting hoodwinked. We're actually having those hard conversations about funding, because in this tech Web 3 space, people are looking for capital to get their ideas off the ground. People are looking for, okay, who's an actually legitimate IP lawyer? If I want to put this idea out here, how can I ensure no one steals it? That's what we come together and do as a collective. So aside from Black Web 3, Her DAO, 40 Acres DAO, Black DAO is another one. There's actually a DAO called Black DAO. Really dope Black people. More so focus on venture capital and helping like young businesses get their ideas up off the ground. But it all starts with a meetup group. To be honest, if those terms or if those things are still a little bit advanced for you, look inside of your local city, because the concept of Web3, like we said earlier, is rapidly becoming popular. Before you join anything or sign up to do anything, go see what's in your local area in person. That's a great way to align. The other really good recommendation I have are in fact, how I found my tribe. I usually go to a good mix of Black conferences and then just conferences for the population in general. I try to keep it like a 60-40 split. You can go to Blacks in Technology. They have amazing, we just had a regional conference in Orlando a couple of weeks. Amazing. Black Tech Week, that was in Cincinnati earlier this year. That's an annual conference. So definitely check out Blacks in Technology. Black Tech Week, Cincinnati. Another one. They're actually having a bunch of tech accelerators all over the place. DC Startup Week, Atlanta Startup Week. You'll usually find people who have those skills that you're looking for or you're curious about at those huge tech conferences, because there's large populations of people who either are in that space or curious or adjacent to that space. But aside from that, obviously you can join Digital Green Book. I mean, what are we talking about here? In addition to us being an educational tech startup, I interview people frequently. I try to do about 2 interviews a week where I find champions inside of the Black spaces. Anyone from the diaspora who's doing something that dispels that image, that myth or a stereotype. I love interviewing them. I've interviewed everyone from developers, angel investors and VCs, contortionists, surgeons, neuroscientists, and their metaverse architects, people who actually build out metaverses. Literally part of the name why I named my business Digital Green Book, aside from we're in this digital era, that a green book was a safe Rolodex of individuals you could trust inside of the community. So I invite people to sit in on the conversations I have with people, if not just to get the knowledge and the exposure about what some people are doing inside of the space who look like us. It might be a resource or a reference for you to reach out and say, oh, this person builds out metaverses. Let me hit them up right quick. Or this person's a whole IP lawyer. Let me hit them up right quick. I'm trying to do some of that heavy lifting for y'all just so you can understand what's going on inside of this space. So as far as community, plug into people who are trying to put information on Front Street for you. Go to in-person conference. Best ways to meet people who are willing to show up. Check out blackweb3.com, BLKWEB3.com, and plug in the Digital Green Book.
So good. Thank you for such a long list of communities that people can tap into. It's no secret that the Black Dollar circulates in our community for 6 hours, but just by being plugged in and knowing the people who can get you what you need, right? Like it helps to solve that problem. Monet, what about you? What communities would you recommend that folks tap into?
Yeah, so in terms of the communities that I recommend, I'll talk about what I'm building out here in terms of local community focused DAOs and events. So Web3 HTX was an idea that I came up with once I moved out here to Houston. And the reason why I moved out to Houston was, so I come from a huge tech background, over a decade in tech and what have you, as an analyst, doing marketing, management, all of that good stuff. So I left New York just to have a change in my life, because I felt like the tech space was already very mature and I was building my business and I didn't feel right building in New York anymore. My heart was telling me to go to Texas, and Texas is actually named the top tech growth city right now in the United States. So there's a lot of room for growth and development. And I hosted my first event back in September for the Gathering Spot. So I partnered with the Gathering Spot. The Gathering Spot is the first Black elite membership club in America. So they were founded in, I believe, Atlanta, and then they moved out to LA. And now they have like a base out here in Houston, and they're trying to build their base. So they allowed me to utilize their members as a test for what I'm building out here. And I was able to educate folks on all things Web3, such as DAOs, metaverses, all that good stuff. So I am going to be hosting a series of different events, workshops, and conferences over the next year in Houston, Texas, and possibly in Austin. But I think Houston needs a little bit more love because of the type of mentality and behaviors that are out here. So, I'm working with the government. I've been speaking with Senator Miles and all of the council members of the Texas government, just to really get a better understanding as to how I should approach educating and building community out here. And they're more than willing to help. So what I implore everyone, each and every one of you ladies, to do is to do your research and go to different local events in person. I believe that having that connection in real life is so important, and you'll be able to learn so much more and make lifelong friends with people in this space through connecting with folks in real life. And I'm not taking away from the digital communities, which I'll get into in a second, but it's all about really understanding the community that's within your area, like near your home. So that's what I want to build for Web3 HTX, a community where folks can learn and grow and also upskill within the Web3 space, whether it be learning about blockchain technology and becoming a developer, or getting into a non-technical role, or building your own firm in Web3, learning about crypto and NFTs. And as you guys know, well, if anyone knows how I am, it's not just about just creating a wallet for me. It's about learning this technology first and understanding where your placement is. And then if you want to investing or what have you. And then last but not least, NFTs. If you want to create an NFT project, great. That's dope. If you want to purchase NFTs, that's great too. If you just want to learn, cool. That's what we have going on for Web3 HTX. And our next event should be right after Art Basel, because I have a lot going on for Art Basel with the planning and all of that. But what I will say about the digital communities out there, I am a part of the World of Women community. I've been a part of them for the last year because I got into the project about a month after they minted. So really cool with the head of philanthropy, Ina Moja, Yam. They're just a really amazing community. There's a lot of different events that they throw. They're starting to do more in-person events, and they're actually doing a gala for members in Miami. So I'm going to be attending the gala there. I must admit, I do know about 40 Acres DAO and a couple of other communities that were mentioned previously. I am not necessarily a part of them per se, but I do support them. And there's just, different alignments and what have you. What I would say in terms of community, just really, just to dovetail off of what Alana was saying, understand where folks are coming from, go into the community, learn them, see what folks you're aligned with. And if it's an alignment for you, and if it speaks to your spirit, join and continue to participate and go from there. If not, it's okay. We could still support folks from a distance and also send love from a distance as well. And another community I would love to shout out, because these guys are doing their thing. Uni's doing their thing. Shout out to Crypto Zay. I want to shout out Grandma's Cafe. So they have an NFT project out there called Grandma's Cafe. They had me on stage yesterday as a co-host. I fucks with them heavy, excuse my language, but I fucks with them so heavy. Oh my God. And just the art, like, it's not even about the art. The NFT is just a grandma, and she's like, like shaking her, like she's twerking, but it's so funny. It's just like a meme piece, right? A meme NFT, but it's the community. So they're really big on bringing people onto stages, pulling people up, and just giving people a voice. Like, hey, you have a project, you have a business that you're coming out with, talk about it. They're really big on that. And they're just an amazing community to be a part of. So I highly recommend Grandma's Cafe, World of Women, amazing community. And shout out to Boss Beauties as well, because they just hired my homegirl as the VP of Web3 strategy. My girl, Chris, she's phenomenal. She just got hired, and they're really big on inclusion and just really giving people a platform, women a platform to grow and develop within the Web3 space. So definitely check out Boss Beauties as well, and hit up my homegirl, Chris, if you have any questions pertaining to that community. They're very welcoming as well. So that's my 2 cents.
It is a palpable joy for me. Like, when you speak, when both of y'all speak, it's not like y'all moving out of scarcity. It's not like I got to do this or I won't be able to eat. Like, y'all are talking about people y'all fucks with heavy. Like, y'all are smiling. Y'all are name dropping. Like, that is everything, man. And kudos to you, Monet, for moving to a brand new place and understanding the importance of scale. You're not reinventing the wheel. She like, I'm talking to the senators, honey. I'm talking to the government. I'm working with the gathering spot. Like, that is scale, like partnering and bringing together powerful people who already have, right, following and resources. So I hope that this was a case study, right, on the way y'all should move in the world as you're building. Like, doing it all is doing it wrong. And Monet has very vulnerably, freely, right, like let you know how she is building this thing and flying while she's doing it. She's building the plane and she's flying it. Shawty didn't say, yeah, in a year I'm gonna drop this. She said, no, we had an event, we have another event, we're doing this. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. And to that point, I'm a huge believer that what we do in business should feel good, period. Like, period. And I think it should feel like home. Right. I think that we should have the agency to decide how we show up in the world, and that's enough. So I would love to understand in you all's words what wellness in Web3 should look like, what it looks like for you today. And I also, if you have any examples of, you know, the ways that you are ensuring that it feels good, any strategies for folks, please share that. But yeah, what does wellness in Web3 look like for you today? Alana, let's start with you, and then Monet, you can add.
I just say that's so beautiful. Like, even everything that you just described is community. I love the gang spot. I've been to a few events there. They do a phenomenal job of making it feel like home and inclusive and community. I went to their DC mixer a few months ago, and I wanted to go to the LA groundbreaking, but I was unavailable. And I actually will be at the Grandma's Cafe thing. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there, sis. Wellness for me, it's so funny as we're talking about building the plane while flying it, right? Oftentimes, especially as Black women, when we look back throughout history, we've never really had a period of time to rest. We've never really had that as we're taking care of their family, or we're building business and raising a whole family, doing this and that. Like, the stereotype behind a strong Black woman is one that I actively seek to combat. I don't think there's a problem with strength. But I think it's a problem when everyone expects us to be in that mode at all times, and it doesn't allow room for us to rest or breathe, or say there's times like, hey, I need a mental break, I can't do it today. Or there's not a system of reprieve put in place for us. So I'm very big on advocating for mental health. The same way I feel like you get your dental screenings, you get your physical exam, you go to your eye doctor. I really think it should start in childhood, that we have emotional intelligence classes, we have mental health screenings, and we have literally the ability for people to go to therapy. That, like, in our community, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Sometimes we throw therapy around as a slur, or as a something to shame people about. I freely admit I am in therapy, and it is helpful for me. There's times I've tried to go without. But honestly, to be in whether you subscribe to it or not, to be inside of a pay while being a woman, there's already certain disadvantages that you have to work through as far as sexism is concerned. to be considered a minority, even though we're the global majority, to be considered a minority inside of a country, you're dealing with racism and classism as well. So as Black women, we deal with racism, sexism, and classism on top of whatever other things are going on. My grandma always said when I was growing up, if a white person sneezes, we get pneumonia out there. So the tone of the news, I don't like to consume too much news from the news media. I like to go on different research sites so I can stay abreast of what's going on in this Web3 space. But as far as mentioning the news, when they're trying to highlight something and be so dramatic about it online, by the time it's made it the mainstream news, it's already too late. First off, if you hear them talking about this sidebar, if you hear them talking about crypto or a project or NFTs or anything on your local television news, it's too late for whatever is happening over there. You need to be ahead of the curve before it even hits the TV. So that's another reason you want to stay in plug with communities that are on the ground actually doing this work, because we're oftentimes doing this stuff before it even hits the TV, first off. But when it comes to mental health, I feel like sometimes the news tries to cultivate this mental environment of pressure at all times. I mean, even to announce the weather, it's like, no, weather, it's 6. Like, calm down, bro. What's the weather outside? You ain't got to do all that. So saying that we live in this society full of sensationalism, everything's so urgent and pressing, you have to be punctual and on time, and it can be overwhelming, especially if you're in a C-suite role, like a CEO, a founder, you're building something, you're doing something. It can be overwhelming if your entire family leans on you because you're the nurse in the family, or you're good with money, or you're the good cook, so we just gonna keep coming to you. Ain't nobody cooking for you, but we gonna keep leaning. Black women deal with a lot. And I just want to acknowledge that if you're watching and this is resonating with you, I see you. I know I can't physically see you, but I see you. And when they tell you when the plane is crashing, before you put the mask on someone else, you have to put it on yourself. But it shouldn't have to get to plane crashing state for that to happen. I need people to just pause for a minute before, whether we're talking about Web3 or not. Us as Black, this topic is so near and dear to me because as an ICU nurse, I traveled to 27 states while I was working. And oftentimes the only times that my Black female patients would have time to rest is when they were in a hospital bed. I can't co-sign that. And I'm talking about the whole 13 years that I worked, from California to North Carolina to, y'all, we gotta do better. We gotta do better. And I'm saying that because I see the urgency that we all have breaking into this new realm of technology. It's necessary. Right now is the time that we need to claim ownership inside of this space. Us securing our legacy now will ensure we have generational wealth. That's not even a game. Like, us doing what we need to do now can make sure we're feeding our families well after the people you see on the screen have transpired from this world. But if you don't take time to protect your mental health, be it working out a system with whoever you're dealing with now, your family, to say, okay, these are the hours that I need to be uninterrupted so I can decompress, or okay, I have to recalibrate my sleep schedule to ensure I'm at least getting the minimum amount of sleep. It might not be 8 hours, but I got to do better than 3 or 4. Or putting alarms on your phone to remind yourself to stay hydrated and drink water, and actually abiding by them and not just hitting snooze when the alarm goes off. Or exercise. Let's call the elephant in the room. That's one of the initiatives I'm working on myself this year, because I get so buried in my work. Sometimes my health goes to the left. This can be a very sedentary job sometimes, because you're up here reading through Medium articles and decrypting things, doing all sorts of stuff. You have to get outside and touch grass sometimes. So I say all that to say, when we're talking about community, forming community, you have to have accountability partners inside of space. My co-founder, Jalecia, like, that's before we even get into business work, that's the first thing she asked me. She's like, did you eat today? Did you drink today? Have you taken a walk today? Did you sleep last night? How is your family? Like, those questions that we need somebody asking us as humans. If you don't have that person in your life, I would almost make that a priority before you handle anything else in your business. because we know that we're often not the best at accountability with ourselves. Even the really strict people, we will, like, as somebody who loves this material, I might skip drinking a glass of water to keep reading an article, and I skip a glass of water to keep reading an article, and I need people in my corner who care about my health more than my passion for this space sometimes. Winding that down, there are different groups and initiatives out here. Health in Her Hue is a great young lady who's developed a health app, literally connecting Black women to resources. And there's a few different meditation apps out there right now. I'm so sorry that their names are skipping my mind, but they're created by Black founders. I definitely will, once I gather my thoughts, I can put those on my social medias to connect people to them as well, because I believe they deserve all the shine. Another young lady I want to shout out, her business is called Care Co-Pilot. She recently won a pitch competition from the Fearless Fund. Literally,
I saw her
developing an app to connect people to health resources and help them in a timely fashion. Girl, that pitch was everything to me. But there's a lot of people out here who are actively trying to solve problems inside of this space. So if you're also looking for really innovative people, that's another tip. Follow Black pitch competitions, because we're gathering together to get these ideas out here, and we're trying to get funding to get it done. But that's my note on health inside of this space. You have to be intentful about it, because I know I've not been the best with it sometimes, and the times I'm best about my health inside of this space is when I have accountability partners.
Ashe. Thank you, Alana. Monet, what would you say wellness in Web3 looks like, and what resources or tools are already out there?
Yes, so I guess I'll share a little bit more of my story and just rip the Band-Aid off. So back in 2018, I had left corporate America. That's when I was in the process of going from becoming a crypto investor, which I did for many years, to becoming a crypto investor and trader, to actually becoming a business owner in the Web3 space. This is before Web3 was even a thing. The name, actually, the terminology. So I was living in London for a little bit and came back, and I was extremely depressed, tried to commit suicide. Corporate America really took a piece of my soul away. And I feel like I felt like there was no hope for survival, because I was in such a very dark place back in 2018. But when it comes to darkness, what happens is that when you're a seed and you're placed in dirt, right? What happens? You grow from it. And this is where Duchess Consulting came about, and the Crypto Duchess. I took on the name the Crypto Duchess because I felt like royalty. And now I'm working with the government. I'm speaking with the government officials of Texas. So it's ironic. People hear my name, they're like, the Crypto Duchess. And, they call me Duchess in Texas. It's ridiculous. In Web3, they call me Duchess. So just looking back from then to now, so what I would like to say about mental health in life and in Web3, in navigating this ever-changing and ever-developing space, is please take care of yourself. Go to therapy. Don't be afraid to write your thoughts down. Okay. I write my thoughts down. That's not even my journal. That's just my thought. Like that's just where I do my idea dumping and stuff. And I put a lot of my thoughts whenever I'm in my office space. So just make sure that you have friends that you can rely on. That's why community is so important in the Web3 space, or just in general, because the community will be able to check on you. I had a girlfriend, shout out to Emily Lazar. She just lost a family member and she wasn't paying attention. She was walking across the street. She got hit by a car. She's in the hospital. Okay. So yeah, and that ties into mental health as well, because it's like she wasn't paying attention and a car hit her and she was in LA. So just really be cognizant of your surroundings and the people around you. We were worried about her. We're hitting her up like, hey, how's it going, sis? We're, sending her flowers, all of that stuff, checking on her, calling on her. This is what Web3 is all about, the community, like really just checking on your fellow sisters and brothers and making sure that people are okay. And just making sure that you check each other. Like if you're in the wrong, or if you've said something or done something wrong to people, hold yourself accountable, because at the end of the day, your hubris will become your downfall. And if you don't know the meaning of hubris, of the word hubris, it is excessive pride or excessive ego. That will be your downfall in any space. I don't care where you come from, tech, Web3, whatever. And I've seen that happen before. And that can also be a part of mental health, the over ego and overconfidence and the I'm better than you. So then I have to function from that place. So a lot of folks function from that place. You don't have to do that, and you don't have to be that way in Web3. That can also really affect you, because if your spirit is not like that and you're acting outside of your spirit, you're putting your body in overtime, like you're in overdrive, like you're basically working harder to be something that you're not. And I see that a lot in this space. So please, I implore each and every one of you, just take care of yourself. Seek therapy if need be. You don't have to tell anybody. It's not like, it could be a secret. It's okay. I go to therapy still. Been going to therapy for a very long time. Furthermore, there are a couple of activations happening in Miami. If anyone is there, my girlfriend Shauna, she has a mental health program and community that she is working on within the Web3 space, which I'll post that information in my, on my Twitter or Instagram or what have you, so you guys can have access to it. And furthermore, just come and check for me. If you guys have any questions, if you feel, like you don't have anyone to speak with, I'm here. Like I'm not, like my DMs are always open. I'm in Twitter spaces. You'll see me on Rug Radio. I'm here, and I'm probably even going to do a mental health, a chat on Decentralized Convos. But yeah, that's my thing. Just take care of yourself, okay? And show yourself love and be graceful.
Ashe, that was so like in the gut, Monet. Like that was so in the gut, dog. Like, I've heard you say a few times, and us knowing each other, like, crypto saved my life, and like, you're not playing, like, oh, I'm about to cry. Like your story of finding belonging and where you felt aligned, like you're not playing. So I am grateful for the number of lives you continue to save by telling your story, because you don't have to, sis. Like people still ain't talking about that, and it's so common. I hope that y'all take pause and really like see yourself in her story. Like I remember, when my primary physician said to me after I thought I had come out of therapy and I was done, and she said, like, I started therapy 14 years ago, Casey, and I still have to show up every single week. I'm like, oh, that's you. But here I am 6 years later, and I still have to show up. I still have to show up on a regular basis. So just know you're not alone. And these women are putting their hearts, their lives, their stories on the table because they love you for real. I am so moved. I am so grateful. And we have to come to a close, right? And so I want to ask you two ladies, because you are trailblazers, right? Like you are literally laying down bricks that will become, castles and universes in the future. So as you think about the weight, the load that comes with being a trailblazer and being the first, right? Especially as Black women, I would love to know from you, what are the things that you are declaring are no longer your burden, right? As you carry on in this plight, right? The theme of the summit is no longer my burden, right? And so to make it very personal, what are the things that you are declaring are no longer your burden in this plight? Monet, I'm gonna kick it back to you.
So that's an interesting ask right there. Nothing is my burden. I don't give a fuck what people want to put on me. I've had, going back to the tech world, I've had management try to put things, put certain expectations on me in Web3. I've had people that have leaned on me for support, which is fine. But I would say what's no longer my burden is people's assumptions of who I am. I am who I am. Come see me. If you really want to learn me and know me, then come see me. Come understand me, come to spaces, come talk to me, hit me up on my DMs, but I'm not responsible for what you think of me and how you feel about me. And also, I am not responsible for I am not responsible for the happenings that occur within this space on a daily basis. And I deal with people sending me all types of different content like, oh, this project broke, this thing happened, and how are we going to deal with it? And it's like it's a cycle of drama and craziness that goes on. And as a leader, I protect my people, my community. I have a community, right? And then I have communities that are interconnected with other communities. So they are all my community, right? But what I am not going to do, if I said something once to you, I'm not going to say it again. It's not my problem if this person is acting away, or if this company or project is trying to rug you guys. Get out. Let's, and it's not my burden to freaking take on the pains and the troubles of other people in this space. It's too much. I have my own shit to deal with, which I am living a beautiful life. Thank God for Web3, but it is not my burden anymore. And I'm happy to say that I wake up every day and I feel very, very blessed to be in this space. But I've realized that a lot of stuff that I've taken on, it's not my problem. So it's not my burden, not my problem, not my circus, not my monkeys. And that's all I have to say.
Drops the mic. I love it. Alana, I'm kicking it over to you. What are the things that you are declaring are no longer your burden in this plight?
Not my monkeys. Oh, I love that. I'm gonna use that. You know what the funny thing is? When I was a little girl, my mother used to quote the Serenity Prayer to me, and that thing has stuck with me my whole life. Now into my mid-30s, it's like, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. The courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference between the two. And inside of this space, as I'm looking to grow, as someone who has dealt with self-confidence issues, as someone who has dealt with inferiority issues, as someone who has dealt with actively trying to bloom inside of like predominantly white spaces, predominantly male spaces, and combating imposter syndrome, even though I have every right to be in that room just like anyone else. I've had hundreds of conversations with women who have felt the same things that I do. So I know that this is not a unique phenomenon. I know that we often we touched on code switching earlier. We touched on so many different ways we have to stifle ourselves sometimes to feel like we belong or accepted or palatable or are tolerated, whether that's changing our hair to make sure it's not too much. Oh, I have stories about that from the hospital, but things that are no longer my burden are definitely the ways that other people want me to show up in this world. I absolutely refuse to remove one more iota of anything that I think defines me. inside of this space. I'm going to leave every single little bit of Afro butterfly all up in these blockchains because people need representation. Representation matters so much. I've learned so much by being inside these spaces, jobs and roles and possibilities that I didn't even know existed until a short while ago. That's why I'm so passionate about creating pathways, because I know that if somebody who could very well be standing outside my window had no idea of the possibilities inside the tech space, and I just show them the possibility, that individual very well could build out one of the best solutions for all of our people. They just needed the exposure. So I refuse to not boldly share this information with people. I refuse to change myself in a diminishing or dehumanizing way. I'm not taking any of that with me into the future, 2022, 2023, at any point in time. I just want to keep growing. I want to become more emotionally resilient and share that along the journey, because those are things people don't talk about, but we all feel that way. I want to encourage more conversations about vulnerability. And let's find some ways to get some mental health initiatives inside of these spaces at baseline. While that's not my burden, that's definitely something I care about being available for individuals. So yeah, how other people want me to show up in this world, that's not my burden anymore. That's
Ashe. So good. And I think it's the perfect way to end this conversation. Not only do they trailblaze in building, they trailblaze in prioritizing themselves and saying, no, hell no. So, ladies, as we close out, please drop your handles, your websites, the best ways for people to keep it locked with you. Alana, then Monet.
All right. So Instagram, there's 2 ways to get in contact with me. It's Monet Q. It's MONETQ. I will admit I am working on getting a check finally, because I have like several imposters that
Several.
Girl, yeah, she knows, she understands. So I'm working with my Meta folks to try to get verified. So Monet Q, there's no underscores, there's no periods, there's no, just Monet Q, or the Crypto Duchess. That's my actual business page. It's the Crypto and Duchess, DUCHESS. And then Twitter, I have Crypto Duchess _. And if you'd like to find me or book me for anything, whether it be for speaking engagements or just checking out to see what we have going on next, what town we're going to be in, what events we're going to be hosting, you can find us at thecryptoduchess.com. And that's where also Duchess Consulting lives on as well. So yes, Instagram, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and my website.
Dope. Alana?
Yes, most certainly. I'm gonna do you one better. I'm gonna share my screen, because even though I'm growing my page, I get a lot of dupes as well. I don't know what people from doing that. That's the weirdest thing to me. I know people like inbox and everything else, but yes, this will be the easiest way. Share screen. Boop, boop. Heavily on LinkedIn. So this is exactly what my profile looks like on LinkedIn. Come find me. You can type in Afro Butterfly. That'll usually pull me right up, or find me under Alana Whitaker. As far as my IG, it is Afro Butterfly, AFROBUTTERFLY with 1 underscore at the end. The other girl who has it without the underscore, she dormant and I can't find her and I'm trying to get it. Anyway. And then my YouTube is Digital Green Book. I gotta pull that up. But Digital Green, just like this, Digital Green, you type it in, you'll find us. They just rolled out YouTube handles, I think like 3 days ago. So if you type in Digital Green Book, you'll find all the interviews, some Web3 walkthroughs on there, like how to use certain platforms, use your wallet, things like that. And then, how could I not? Last one I'll show you is D Green Book on Instagram as well. That's my business page. So I'm not really as social media savvy, because we talked about the algorithm so to speak. But so D Green Book is the letter D, and then Green Book. D Green Book for my business page on here. Yeah, that's how you can connect with me. Afro Butterfly, Digital Green Book. Also, if you want to sign up, if you'll be in Miami during March, we're having a hackathon for people in high school, in college, or not in high school or college, and they're looking to learn about the Web 2 or Web 3 space, and they want to participate and gain some tangible in-person skills. You want to learn, what is a GitHub? How do I build that out? What is a LinkedIn? How do I build that out? We're having in-person, myself and my co-founders, people on the ground to help you gain those skills there in real time. It's hosted at Miami-Dade College. The sign-up page for that. There we go. Perfect. And let me share my screen again. Boop, boop. Last link I'll share is Blue, pardon me, Collar, COLLAR hack.com. And that'll bring you right to this type form. And then it just says, do you want to break into tech? We're holding an upskilling event at Miami-Dade College. And then it goes through and asks you a series of questions to help you see what sort of pathway you want to go down. But yep, that's what I got for you right now. I have a lot more events coming up as well, helping people break into both Web 2 and Web 3 roles. I host metaverse parties and in-person events, so definitely stay tuned for that. And if you're Black and you just want to say hi, you can connect too. That's a good enough reason for me. So, and if you're not Black, you can also say hi as well, but I'm just saying.
Super, super dope. Y'all definitely keep it locked with both of these ladies. They're doing incredible things. They are genuine, right? And that's important for leadership. So, yeah, get them all the love, K-Power for them. Y'all keep your eye on them. Make sure nobody messing with them, okay? Energy. Love and light to everybody. Keep it locked in the summit. I hope you all are enjoying this, and we look forward to more. Bye. All right, y'all. Super dope. We had heard from both Alana and Monet earlier. They really poured into us, really broke down the game for us, right? And then they cemented this conversation by saying, but don't kill yourself, right? Don't run yourself ragged. Don't just choose any and everybody's space because you just think scarcity exists and that's the best you can do. No, it should feel good. It should feel comfortable. Our usher came in on this session and dropped all the links. We missed you all day, Yvonne. Welcome back. I hope you got some good rest because I know it's been heavy this week. And you all, we are wrapping day 4. We are wrapping day 4. And it's just one day left. It is just one day left. This has been absolutely incredible to fellowship with all of you. You all have been connecting with each other, making partnerships, doing video meetings with each other, commenting in the chat, and so much more, supporting Black businesses in the Buy Black market. Today and tomorrow are the last days to support the businesses in the Buy Black market. And the founders are there. Y'all saw, y'all pulled up on them, right? Y'all attended their broadcast, y'all sat at tables with them, right? So make sure you not only go to fellowship, right, and to get what you need for yourself, think about your family members, right? Think about your children. Think about your community and the things that they might like this holiday season, right? Ways you can close out the year, right? And just perpetuate this idea, right, of agency and spreading awareness about Black-owned businesses that really do move to edify us. Before we get into, because I want y'all to prep yourselves, before we get into this 47 minutes, I'm gonna call it what it is, like this pitch round, right? Where people just talk about their ideas, right? Talk about some things that are top of mind for you as you think about exploring Web3. This is so important for the journey, right? And the reps just make things easier. So even if you're nervous, do it scared, right? Even if your idea is not fully fleshed out, still do it. Build the plane as you're flying it, right? So I want people to start raising their hands. Just hit the hand button under the screen so that you can come up and articulate aloud some of the things you're thinking about doing in your business, right? So that you take advantage of this early entrance into Web3, right? This early, semi-early, because listen, this semi-early emergence of community being gold now, even more than content, way more than content, to be honest. Okay. And I will pull you on stage and we will listen to you. We will light up the chat with feedback. I'll be on stage with you. I'll hold your hand. Okay. But we got to open our mouths, right? Big founder energy, and doing things like this is a big part of market research, right? Really getting reactions and feedback from the market, right? And seeing if what you're talking about is actually desirable. And if it's not desirable, saying, oh, okay, well, damn, okay, cool. Thank you so much, right? What is, right? But before we start that, again, hit the hand button. I'll bring you up. 45 minutes to do that because we are closing out our session, our day. Okay, we are closing out our day, not with journal wind downs. Neff has done an amazing job helping us process all week. Okay. And today and tomorrow, as we really stand up our thoughts and our mindset shifts around founder energy, big founder energy, right? We're gonna let some business owners close us out. So we have 2 more sessions in the next hour, right? That are gonna close us out, and we done. Okay. So cue yourself up, hold your hand up, right? So that I can start hearing what you're thinking about, so that we can start hearing what you're thinking about as it relates to Web3. But I do want to shout out some folks on the leaderboard because tomorrow the winners will be announced. Okay. And so 15 people, only 15 people, but that's a lot now. Every summit we get 15 people. 15 people will receive Blaze NFTs, the first mints from Blaze, and it is yours, no strings attached, right? And I myself will meet with you to help you get ramped up, to make sure your wallet is good, to make sure you're comfortable accessing your NFT, right? So we'll have that kind of onboarding session with the 16 of us, okay? But it's still early. It's still anybody's game, okay? Number 1, holding down the number 1 spot for a long time, and her lead has gotten bigger, y'all. Tiffany Brown is not playing, okay? Tiffany Brown is holding down the number 1 spot with 8,130 points. Sharita Hamilton is behind her at 5,930 points. Great job, sis. You've been really showing up. How do I know? Because your points say so. This is gamification, everybody. This is a Web3 concept as well. Gamification, right? Which describes, yes, you want people to do something, right? But you should make it enjoyable for them to do it. You should incentivize them. You should make it fun, right? This is that transition into Web3 where things are just bigger than life, right? It just feels real and it matters, right? So gamification in this setting is me tying points to the very behaviors that allow founders to win out there in the real world every single day, right? So you get points for chatting, you get points for DMing each other, you get points for setting up meetings, you get points for sitting at tables, you get points for going to booths, right? This is gamification, right? And you all can do it in your communities. You should do it in your communities, right? Number 3 is Anika Leonard. Okay, y'all are lining up to pitch on the stage for your Web3 ideas. I'm excited. Anika is pretty close behind Sharita, so anybody's game. Wendy Dorsey is in number 4. Alexis Miller is number 5. Wendy, okay, let me tell y'all something. Wendy racked up her points clearly because sis was in and out today, and she's still holding down the number 6 spot. I love to see it. Chrissy is number 7. Dana is number 8. Sharon is number 9. 10 is Victoria. I feel like Victoria has moved up a spot. I see you since this morning. Nicole is number 11. Anika, the twin to Anika Jones, the twin to Anika Leonard, is number 12. Number 13 is Brianna Burton. Number 14 is Cheryl. And number 15 is Erin. 16 is Kaya now, okay? And Kaya is only 5 points behind Erin, might I add. Still anybody's game, but tomorrow at the end of the summit, we're definitely going to announce the winners, and we look forward to you being part of our historical story, right? As founding holders of our NFTs. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So It's time, okay? It is time to hear pitches, right? And it's literally this simple, right? Hearing people's ideas, what they want to do. It wouldn't be a pitch if it was already done, right? That's what a pitch is. When you hear that word out there, it's ideas, like concepts that people are thinking about. And pitches are incredible in that you do get feedback. People do have the chance to ask you questions. And as the founder, the pitch is important because you actually get to see whether this is viable, in the market, whether people think it's interesting, whether they don't think it's interesting. You can follow up and say, well, what would be better, right? We have to stop. It don't have to be today now, okay? Because again, in the wintertime, we keep it easy, we keep it nice, okay? But I'm telling you, we have to stop being paralyzed by perfection. We have to, because you've changed the font, sis, 12 times. You have tweaked the shade of pink 23 times. You've waited an extra 8 months so that the logo could be perfect. And you launch without any feedback, and it's not even hitting, right? Had you launched early and had it out for 8 months, you would have been tweaking that thing like Apple tweaks the software every single night, right? And in 8 months, you got something that people telling their cousins about, right? The creator of LinkedIn, I love what he said. The creator of LinkedIn said, if you were not embarrassed by your first launch, you waited too long. He said, if you were not embarrassed by your first launch, you waited too long, right? This is how these boys move out here. I promise you, it's not that deep for them, right? And so we are about to get into it. I am so proud of you ladies for raising your hands. We have 3 people in the lineup. We have 39 minutes to unpack their ideas, et cetera, et cetera. And FYI, during the rest of this segment, the Q&A is open, right? So there's some answers that are already in there. Y'all make sure y'all write down the links or keep the links to some of those answers that are in the Q&A panel. All right, coming up first, we have Cheryl. I am handing you the mic. I'm up here with you, sis. But yeah, what are you thinking? What are your thoughts?
Okay, so you caught me off guard because I wasn't thinking I was going to go first. So that's first. Okay, so my name of my company is Writing My Healing, and my idea is that women have a community where they are able, Black women have a community where they are able to have self-expression and healing through writing. It doesn't necessarily have to be journaling per se. It can be journaling if they want, but they have an opportunity to just express themselves fully through writing, poetry, fiction, however they like. And it's a safe space where they get to throw off being wife, mother, daughter, whatever. They can just be Cheryl. They can just be Casey, and just freely express themselves in a way that they usually don't get to. And so that's one part of it. So that's the community aspect of it. The other part of it that I would like to also have is that in a coaching aspect that I have been kind of been going back and forth about is also helping to support them in navigating through the fear and distrust of the mental health industry. I'm not a therapist, but just helping them in first knowing that there are Black therapists out there and how to find them, and just navigate being an advocate in knowing what questions to ask to make their first appointment, how to call, and talk to an intake person, how to navigate through, the medications and things like that. All the things that I have been through. And then just setting achievable goals. A lot of times, some of the things that really hold us back are the terms that they use: case manager, social worker, things like that, that kind of, for Black women especially, can be demeaning. Whereas if they have this safe space and supportive space where they're not talked down to, but they're in a place where they are a part of their healing. They're not just, you've got a therapist over you and you've got to do what they tell you to do. No, they're a part of it. This is a partnership where, I'm not your caseworker. I am your partner. We're doing this together. We're setting these achievable goals together. You've got support, you've got encouragement, and there's a mutual respect as we work together as a team. So that's my quick, nervous idea because my hands are shaking but that's the first time I've ever said it outside of my office and my brain.
Congratulations, you did it. You did it. Now, I am going to show you feedback. Like, this is the importance of the pitch, y'all. We have to do this more and more and more. So, I'm showing this comment from Dr. Carrion. She says, "Love that, Cheryl." 2 exclamation points. Okay. We have, man, it's so many. Y'all got this screen scrolling, okay? We have a couple of them from Chandrell. But one thing she said is it makes a huge difference. So this sounds like receptivity to me in the market. Like, this seems valuable to folks. You have, I'm looking for one in particular. I don't see it anymore. Somebody had some. Oh, okay, yeah. This was. Wait, I think I already saw it. I think I already showed this, but I'll read them out. Right. So come on, Cheryl. Go, Cheryl. Set the pace, Cheryl. Love that, Cheryl. Definitely need people who can relate. So this is good. So when you were talking about having people who can break down the terms, right? Especially for people who have a distrust of the mental health space, right? You got an Ashe there, especially somebody said, this is good. I'm gonna show this on the stage. Somebody said, especially if you've had a case manager or case worker before. So, and I take this to mean, like, when you unpack why people are distrustful, right? And you said it, right? Like, the therapist is not over you, it's your partner. Like, you're a part of a community. So it sounds like, it sounds like it's a good alternative. We love this for you. So you got a whole lot. Great job, Cheryl. Okay, so a whole lot of feedback from people. I think I got okay. Now, you said that you're gonna have a community aspect, which is super, super dope because community is king right now. It's more king than content, way more king than content these days. And you said you're gonna have a coaching aspect to it. So, and again, you don't need to be perfect, right? Just say what you think, right? Do you think that you're gonna integrate Web3 at all, or is it going to be, are you thinking about it more like Web2, where it's, like maybe online Zoom calls, or, do you have any thoughts around how?
I didn't know anything about Web3 when I first came into this, but now my brain has completely flipped. So now what I'm thinking, and this is just going completely off cuff, thinking about Web3. What I'm thinking now is the community aspect. I'm thinking if I understood Afro Butterfly, because I can't think of her name right now. If I understood it correctly, if I do an NFT, for instance, where if you click on my picture, that's 20% off of a package of a 6-week coaching package or something like that. And this also gets you a journal, your pen, which could have my branding on it. The journal could be a prompted journal, which I've been working on anyway, which could be part of it. And then if the terminology is now changing from community to now DAO, that's that NFT is now your part into the community. That was one aspect. The other thing I thought about too was having it with cryptocurrency, having it where they can use that. I don't know. I think I lost that. I lost that with the cryptocurrency. I'm not sure, but I know I have to have that aspect. I want to have that aspect somehow I'm just not sure how.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the NFT, I understood a little more than I did the cryptocurrency. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Fire. Fire,
Yeah.
fire, fire. That's my feedback to you. Fire, 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 fire. I think your concept is absolutely incredible. And when you launch it, because you will, just like Apple does on the phone every single night, you'll be able to tweak as you watch it, right? The NFT concept is super fire. Somebody, I'm gonna show it on the stage. Somebody said, yes, ma'am, to branding. It is super fire that you are not only giving an NFT that gives like a discount, but you're giving them branding so they can wear your swag and use your swag, and then the branding grows. I agree. That's very, very brilliant. A lot of famous people are doing that. With their NFTs, you get some type of exclusive item that you can be proud to wear, either in metaverse or in real world. Brilliant. All right, a lot of really good feedback on this. I think your community thought, again, it doesn't have to stay this way, right? But you know, a DAO is usually people have like equal rights and they can vote. If you want to share the leadership, you can do a DAO. Maybe you can keep it that way you're the leader and can't nobody vote on what happens, right? It's that's still Web3. Write this down: Discord, DISCORD, DISCORD. That is where, my good sis, people can create communities like they would on Slack inside of that's integrated with Web3. So on Discord, you can literally name a community. People can come to that online, but on Discord, not only can they chat with each other, right? Not only can you lead the group and they can use emojis and gifs. With Discord, you can say only let the people in who have this NFT, and guess what? It'll only let the people in who have your NFT. Like Discord allows you to move with Web3 very, very naturally, right? So cool. I love it. And then on crypto, yeah, you can just think about it, right? One big FYI to us ladies, because we're gonna build it, right? We're gonna be on time, we're gonna be early with this thing. FYI, and PayPal is already making changes to be able to accept crypto for people who want to allow people with crypto money to buy from them. Right. This is how early y'all are. Like PayPal has not figured it out yet, but they're working on it. This is how early we are right now. So if you want to start accepting crypto, PayPal already working on it. You just know about it early, so you'll turn it on. Some people gonna be afraid, like I don't want no crypto money. Y'all ain't gonna be afraid. Y'all gonna check the box like, yup, my bank account is open, right? And Square is doing a similar thing where they're gonna allow people to come into stores and stuff if anybody has a brick and mortar, right? And be able to pay in person, right, with their crypto instead of fiat.
And I had one last that I wanted to tell everybody. I've been kind of testing it a little in the chat. I want to do some kind of merchandise with Fly. I've been using Fly in the chat, which is First Love Yourself.
Yeah.
So it will be Fly Girls.
Come on now, that's the community name.
I think that's gonna be the community name. Will be Fly
Come on
Girls.
now.
So yeah, I think that's where we're gonna go. I think I saw somebody ask, where am I gonna find my my clients? I'm working on it. I don't know, but this is just pitch off the top of my head. Thank you so much for letting me go first. I'm nervous now, so I gotta go get me some water and calm down.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. You killed it. You absolutely killed it. It's just about them reps, but you killed it. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you guys so much. This meant the world to me. Thank you.
You're welcome. Beautiful. All right, we're gonna keep it rolling. We have 27 minutes left. Next is Nicole Player. Nicole, bringing you up. What is your idea?
All right. Okay. Oh. All right. Hi, everyone. Okay, I'm super nervous, so bear with me. So, my business is Black Girl Motivation. It's a mobile app, and it's for Black girls and women all over the world to inspire, empower, motivate, and encourage us daily with positive messages. So, right now on my mobile app, you'll receive, like, if you download the app, you'll receive a notification. It addresses you based off of your age, where you fall within range. So if you are 18 and under, you're considered a little sis. If you're 18 to 45, you're considered sis. And if you are 45 and up, you're considered auntie. So I have the different categories. The thing with my app is I don't allow people to speak on it. And the reason I did that was because I wanted to control the narrative. I didn't want people to, once you start allowing people to speak, negativity starts coming in, and I wanted to be able to control the narrative. When I heard about Web3, I was like, wow, I can create a Black Girl Motivation DAO and create a community where we can actually speak now. And so when I think about Black Girl Motivation DAO, I think about a community where we can be our authentic selves. We can share things like, hey, I'm having suicidal thoughts today, right? Or I just had a baby and I feel a certain way about my kid. And I know I love this kid, but today I'm not feeling like myself. And we can share different resources for mental health and healing and therapists and things like that. I think about like even when I talk about breaking the bias and adversity you might be experiencing in the workplace, like you have a platform where, hey sis, like I was at work today and they said this to me, can you believe that? Or they told me to change my hair. Like we can talk about these things and how you would navigate that environment. Sis, you can be your authentic self, right? Or encourage each other, right? If you can step out from that job, like you're not dependent, this is not your source, right? So to talk about those types of things and encourage each other. So another thing too, like when I thought about like the NFTs, one thing that I am working on is merch. I really wish I could share my screen because I would love to show you guys this design. I had this dope designer make this design.
You can.
Oh, I can.
You see that arrow up at the bottom under your video?
Let me share real quick, y'all.
Look at the power of the pitch. Let me tell y'all something. When you stay ready, you don't gotta get ready.
Okay.
Huh?
Look, do not judge me by all these screens I got up. Yvonne been throwing them links out, and I've been clicking on each one. So don't judge me. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Hold on a second. Okay. All right, can you guys see my screen?
I can't see it yet. I think it's doing something though.
Okay.
Can y'all see her screen?
Hold on, let me try again, man.
I saw her trying to do something. Let me try to test mine. Share screen. Are you playing the video? No.
Why did it do that? Okay, hold on 1 second, guys. I'm gonna try something.
You might have to get something access. Let me try to test it on my side.
Okay.
Do you see it? It's asking you which window you want to share?
Yep, I see that. So I'm sharing.
That? Okay, that's what I see too.
Can you guys see this?
Let me come out.
The screen is flickering.
I don't see it.
Okay.
Let me try to share mine and just see if it's working.
Okay. I might have said it wrong.
Mine worked.
Oh man, I wish I could show you guys.
Are you sharing the entire window, or are you sharing?
I would share your entire window. That way, I could pull up another screen.
Yeah, I don't know. Are you on Chrome browser?
Yeah, it's okay. I just wanted, but that's another area that I'm working on is some merch, right? Some Black Girl Motivation merch. So I can share that with young Black girls and, all over the world.
Okay.
And so I've also been connecting with a lot of women here, and we've been talking about a summer program for young Black girls in the community, and just bringing them together, pulling together a fashion designer so they can walk in confidence and, just be their authentic selves. So those are some things that I'm working on. Bear with me on that pitch, but that's just kind of. I told y'all my mind has been racing today. So
this is amazing. And for real, congratulations to you for literally coming up cold and saying it. Like when you say it, it is real. And then when you see like the world didn't end and people actually with it, right, like it changes the game. So Ashay, congratulations to you. So I'm gonna put up people's comments to you. I'm just to level set, just in case people want to drop some more comments. Yvonne asked a great question. What is a DAO, right? First, number one, it is an acronym, DAO. DAO is not DOW, okay?
How do you pronounce it? Is it DAO?
It's DAO. Yeah, you're exactly right.
Okay.
You're exactly right. Our usher got in a little late. She missed all our Web3 stuff. She didn't watch the replay. But the DAO, just so you understand the gravity, the enormity of what Nicole is about to do. She's about to do this. A DAO is a decentralized, autonomous organization. I'm going to say that again. It is a decentralized, autonomous organization. And the power of a DAO is nobody can control what happens with it on the outside, right? You literally create a community on a platform, right? And everybody has equal voting rights. It's on the blockchain. So like nobody can scam it. Everything is transparent. Like you can literally see what's happened with every single thing. The DAO has, they can pull money together. They have to vote on the decisions that are made. And you literally see record of every transaction that was made. A DAO is a powerful way to remove the onus of leadership and moderation from yourself and to spread it evenly across a whole community, right? So what she's saying is the app, she's protecting it. She's making sure that it's safe space and she is pouring out, right, in a very automated digital fashion. And she's saying, but now I can create a DAO where we all have collective interaction, collective power, all of these things. Okay, so I'm going to show you your feedback. I just wanted to make sure that everybody was on the same page with this amazing idea that you have. Okay, so they give a lot of feedback, sis. So good. So Wendy, she is very, y'all moving this chat. Wendy said nice. She was very, very, very excited about this. Kaya loves it. She said yes. Dr. Carrie Ann says, as an international psychologist, I am so excited about these mental health and business integrations. I am here for it. I agree. I think this is pushing it to the masses in a dope way. Oh, they were trying to see your screen. Okay. Yeah, Anika said, let's go. Nicole Crowley says that was great. I agree. Sequoia said go. Anika said you articulated it beautifully. Yeah. Again, we are our worst critics, but you literally articulated very, very beautifully. Like you told us where you are. Like it was very clear to us that you're not starting from scratch, right? You told us what it's doing, and then you told us how Web3 is going to elevate what you're doing in a way that adds more autonomy and adds more real life connections. I think that's so dope. I'm going to keep looking just to make sure. Jackie loves it. She says this is awesome. Super dope. Yes, Yvonne. Okay, so Yvonne is like, oh, it's clicking now. So operating under your own authority. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly what Good Sis is about to build. I'm here for it, bro. That was my voice too, Casey. I'm glad I got your voice right, Anika. Super dope. So I want to make sure I have all of the pieces, right? So the DAO, we are all on the same page around. You are going to basically keep the app running as it is, where it is more so pouring out, but you're going to create this community. You already have a community, but you're going to create this sub-community that is even more protected and even more selective, right? So that people can really, really share things, right? And then I want to make sure I have the second thing you can't show us, right? But the third thing, right? Can you say again, because I want to make sure that everybody's on the same page with you and gives feedback if they need to. What again is your third prong's integration with Web3?
Hold on, I wrote it down. 1 second. Let me make sure I got it. Because you had mentioned something. So another thing, you talked about the Discord. So I hadn't thought about that, but I think that will also be another avenue that I can leverage too, just because only letting people in that have the NFT. So I feel like when people invest money, right, you're not going to be getting on a platform speaking negatively, or like you're there for a reason. And so I definitely think that would help me to control my audience and make sure I'm not just letting anybody in, right? and people are there because they want to be there and they want to help other people, right? So that's my goal there. And then also for little sis to see that big sis and auntie, we not perfect, right? So and I think that's important because we need our young girls to know that they don't have to be perfect either, right? They can be their authentic selves. We are all here to
I think is it my connection or Nicole's? Can y'all still hear me? She was in a vein. Dang. Nicole is in a vein. Okay, Nicole, if you are back in here, I'll bring you up. Just raise your hand. That was you were in a vein, honey. I'm gonna let you finish your thought. Yeah, because we with you. The chat is lit up right now.
Oh man, look. I'm sorry, y'all, but I was just saying, right? It's important that they know that they don't have to be perfect. They can be themselves. Mm-hmm. We all have to, unlearn a lot of things that we were accustomed to. So, and I want them to be able to see that within this community.
Ashay. That's so good. And I agree. I think using Discord is perfect. Like that's still a part of your DAO idea. Like Discord is free. It literally works like Slack, so it'll be easier. It'll be easy for you to kind of get comfortable with it. But I love it, and I love the thought of an 18-year-old girl being able to be in there with a 54-year-old woman in a safe space and see, like, dang, like it's a journey.
Right. Absolutely.
I love it. All right, well, great job on the pitch. We think it's gonna be well received. Build it, sis.
Thank you, guys.
All right, mama. So good. Okay. So next we have coming to the stage, Jackie Boyd. Jackie, the mic is yours. What is your business idea?
Hey y'all, can you hear me?
Yes.
Let me turn this air down. I'm excited. I'm glad I got to talk. So I've been hanging out all week, and I got to say this is phenomenal. So you got me all over the place, girl. Fed the spirit and the soul, mind, body, and soul. I am a life coach, an author, and a podcaster, and I speak heavy on mental health as well, mainly intergenerational trauma. So I have a program that's entitled The Brave Blueprint, which is a 6-month program, a healing journey to help women break free from past trauma and boldly reclaim their voice so they can live freely and abundantly and, move past any insecurities that they may have. So I am also a victim or a product of intergenerational trauma. So this is something that I'm very passionate about. I started journaling. Journaling started into a podcast, but I still had the imposter syndrome. So I hid behind the camera and just decided to just talk and say my thoughts on podcasts. That later, and that was in 2020. It later turned into me wanting everybody calling, talking to me and saying, girl, you've been trying to be this life coach forever. Why don't you go ahead and do it? I still waited. So I felt like, I had to perfect it and I still wanted to write and speak about it. So I decided to journal and blog. Blog became the book, Shattered Soul. Shattered Soul developed into me going out speaking, motivational speaking, and speaking to parents and first-time moms and people that were going through these same changes that I also had gone through. Then later, I decided after several certifications, that's enough for procrastinating, trying to perfect it. Go ahead and dive into life coaching. So that's where I am today. I started with my small business entity certification. So I started with that and kind of tried to take off. And then I thought about one more thing I wanted to incorporate, and that's to become a doula. So I wanted to do the mind, body, and soul, also be there before the mother have the baby to try to talk to her so that I can get to the ground, the foundation make sure I get to the root before the baby comes here and all that, because you're going through so many emotions. And I did too. And the way that you talk to your children, they take that in, of course. So I also wanted to do the postpartum part because some of us have had those minutes or those times that we don't want to be a mom in that moment. And we spoke on that earlier this week. Told you I've been on there. I've been following
You've been
all
on,
week.
you've been on, you've been listening.
I've been on here every day. So now I was doing well. And I had just said, y'all, Facebook ain't for me. I don't do Facebook. I don't know why it's not working. I tried to go back because I love IG and Twitter. But I have not been able to touch people with the Facebook. And I think I know why y'all said it. I have a lot of friends and family there. And of course, they support me, but I can't reach the people I want to reach.
Yeah.
So I was trying to figure out how am I going to do it. And then I hear about Web3 today. And I was like, there it is. I just said last night. I was getting ready to let Facebook go, but I don't know how to incorporate. So I don't have my plan together yet, but I do have the question that I would like to ask Casey.
Yes.
And my question is, how do I kind of move into the process to move my young moms, all my moms, my women of color, my professional women, my everyday stay-home mom? How do I move them to set my program up to move into the Web3 world? I heard it, but I just am not there yet. And I'm a one-man show. So the Discord, I would do that too, because right now I am speaking to these ladies on Wednesday nights. We come together and we sit on the Zoom platform or StreamYard, but I don't know how to maneuver. So that's my story. I'm a hush talking. I'm done.
You good, sis. I love it.
Thank you, Yvonne, for putting my information up, girl.
Look, the trial got you, sis. It got you. So, great question. I loved hearing about your journey, right? Like how you have dared to take up more and more space, and then people started telling you like holding you accountable, and then you taking up more space. So beautiful. Right. I would encourage you to try to make it as painless as possible, right? And I'll tell you what I mean by that, right? Like, don't dismantle everything you've done today and then switch it all the way over, right? Because it just takes time, right? Like even it's taking you a minute, right, today to like become enlightened about it, and you're gonna have to continue studying, etc., right? So I would think about practical ways that you can help them get their feet wet without disrupting anything, right? Without making it painful. So for instance, right, you all talk, in your circle with moms, with corporate women, et cetera, right? Maybe you might hear something about a Web3 event that's happening, right? Where people can literally just get a link to join on their computers, right? For moms of color, right? Or for women of color. And maybe you just want to share it with your community and say, hey, I'm going to be there. Y'all coming too, right? But you're intentionally educating them about it so they get less and less fearful of it, right? Or maybe during one of your meetings, so there's this platform called Spatial, Spatil, Spatial. The website is spatial.io. There's this place where even on a laptop, sis, even on a desktop, even on a phone, you can have your people in the metaverse with you, right? Instead of doing a Zoom call where people know to click the link and they show up and talk on video, you can literally create a spatial meeting room. And it's like literally 3D. They can choose how their person looks. They can sit at tables or whatever, right? But they can be there on their mobile. They can be there on their desktop. So maybe you replace one of your Zoom meetings with a spatial link and just say, hey girls, let's make it more personal this time. Like let's actually go into a room and sit together. Y'all want to try that? And you can tell them, we're going to just try this and see how it goes, right? But that's them dipping their toe in without disrupting a lot of things and y'all interacting together. Maybe it's you want to kick your feet up for one of y'all's meetings and have a guest come in. Maybe you want to reach out to Alana, right? And say, Alana, can you come in and talk to us about moms in Web3? Like, why does Web3 matter for us? Maybe you can get Alana to talk about how they keep their children safe in the land of Web3, right? Maybe you can get Alana to talk about, how these women can start their own communities and whatever, right? But make it as painless as possible for them. Now because I do this myself, you founder, you're willing to take on a little more pain because you're the leader. You know where y'all want to be in 2 years. So you might take certifications. You might watch YouTube. You might do these things so that you lead them, right? But don't put that burden on your community. Make it very light and easy and fun for them. And then before they know it, they're going to look up in 6 months and they got, 3 avatars in the metaverse, right? Does that help?
Okay. That does. Now, as far as the in-person part with doula, how do I do that part? I don't understand that concept. Like,
you mean
I am
Web3?
Yes.
Or
how
in
do
real
I
life?
in real life? In Web3, how do I promote that I'm also a doula? So I'm in the Web3 and I'm also in person for the doula part, the hands-on, like going through the birthing phase.
Yeah. I would say continue to join like conferences or communities or watch YouTube videos so that you continue to see all the opportunities that are possible, because it's not just one answer. It's like maybe you have like products that you want to sell to the mothers that you help out, and you want to have little stores in the metaverse where they can literally buy on, in the metaverse, and it ships to their house, right? You don't have to do your practices there, right? But I would take a step back if I were you and just continue to learn about all the things that are possible so that you feel natural ideas. Because again, you want to make it as painless as possible for the mothers, right? Like you don't want them to jump over hoops to get stuff. So ideas will come to you, right, as you continue to learn about all the possibilities. And then little by little, right, you can start, implement. Maybe you, instead of going to the house one day, you want to use a 3D environment where you're sitting in front of her, she's sitting in front of you, you can see her, but y'all are in 3D, and y'all are breathing, whatever, right? I'm not in that space, I don't know all of your practices, but just continue to educate yourself before making a switch on that side.
Okay. That's it. That's it. That's what I needed. Just to try to see where I need to start from. I thank you so much. And FYI, it probably worked out great because my daughter is now a midwife. So I was like, oh, well, we make it work it out.
Congrats, daughter.
So thank you. I appreciate y'all so much. Bye.
Thank you. Have a good one. So dope. Okay, so we have 3 minutes. I'm bringing you on stage, Sequoia. And then Nicole, I won't be able to get to you because we got to start our next session after this. But Sequoia, I think it's still cycling. I pressed it, Mama. Hopefully your computer accepts it. Fingers crossed. I think my dance helps. She's coming. She's coming. I hope so. I hope so. I don't see her. Sequoia, I don't know. I think maybe you have to give your browser permissions. Like usually at the top right, you'll see a little camera button. You have to give it permission to use your camera, for AirMeet to use your camera. Yeah. Okay, so that means Nicole, when you stay ready, you don't gotta get ready. Nicole Crowley, I'm pitching it to you. You can raise your hand back up. Actually, I'm gonna click on you, sis. Let me see if I can do it. I don't think I can. Okay, so Nicole Crowley, just raise your hand and I can bring you to the stage. Okay, you coming up, Mama. What is your business idea? And we'll look to keep this. This is like a rapid fire, 90 seconds.
Okay.
I see you.
Hey, Casey, how are you?
Hello. I'm great. How are you?
Good. I'm going to rapid fire my way through this.
You got this?
Okay. So I'm sure you've heard the old saying, if a tree falls in the forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? Well, when it comes to digital marketing, I often like to ask, if you're creating content, but no one is around to see it, does it even matter? It's a harsh reality, but sadly, many academic and institutions and businesses are making this mistake online. They're investing time and money into digital marketing initiatives without getting any real results. That's why my team and I exist, to help small businesses get the most out of their digital presence online. We specialize in helping you to create a strategy that will maximize the impact of your digital presence. We'll work with you to understand your objectives, target audience, and budget so that we can develop strategies that put you in front of the right audience.
Uh-oh, I think your internet cut out, Nicole. Can you still hear me? Man. That was really, really, really good though. I don't know where you were going with it, Nicole. Or is it my internet? Can y'all still hear me? Let me look in the chat. Dang, she was doing so well. She was. She was. Okay. Well, Nicole, I don't know what your Web3 integration idea is, Mama. If you can hear me, just know that you can use less bandwidth by hitting that HD button below the video. Switch it to SD. You don't have to be in high definition. You can be in SD, and that should help. But we loved everything you were giving. Just in general, I'm gonna put some of these comments on the screen. Nicole Player said, "Okay, Nicole, you came in hot, Mama." Alexis said, "Say that." Yeah. Okay. So I don't know what it was. Victoria says, "I loved your idea." I don't know if it was an idea or a real business. Let me try to. I think you raised your hand again. I'm trying to bring you up again.
Okay, I think I'm back.
Yes.
Okay, it is a business. It's a longer pitch. I kind of structured it to be a 10-minute pitch. It's funny because I actually had to give this pitch this morning.
Oh, nice.
So I was trying to position it for our conversation today and to keep it short. But it is a business basically to develop marketing strategies for women of color to feel comfortable with marketing, to make sure that their ideal clients can see themselves in their visuals, hear themselves in their messaging, and feel themselves in the delivery, so that when small business owners are reaching out to their clients, they can readily understand that they're being invited to join their communities, either in the Web 2 space or Web 3 space.
Ashe. And have you launched this business yet, Nicole?
Yes. Right now I'm working to get funding. So that's a goal of mine moving forward. Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love the way that you started out with, this tree in the forest, because it disarmed us, right? We were caught off guard when you brought that into, okay, well, if you market it, nobody sees it, blah, 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 right? Like that was super fire. I love it. And I want to use this, and we have to pivot to the next session, y'all. So get ready for that. But I want to use this as a case study for how easy it is for all of us to make money in Web3. Literally, there are going to be people creating stuff who are entrepreneurs all of a sudden. And so they're going to need marketing help. They're going to need branding help. They're going to need blogging help. You yourself don't have to build an environment to make money in Web3. Like, you just show up for all the people who need your services, like Nicole is doing, right? People are going to build new communities. They have to market to the community. And like Nicole just said, what you have, nobody know who your community, you know that you have a community. What's going to happen, right? So y'all really think about, it doesn't have to be you building something in Web3. You can make money by helping the people who are going into Web3. It's that tight. It's like, this is that needed. And Black women, we need each other, right? I know I'm gonna be hiring community managers in Web3, right? I love Blaze. We're gonna get down with it, but I need somebody to manage the Web3 community. I'm gonna hire somebody who's good with people, right? So think about that stuff. I appreciate you, Nicole. That was incredible. So incredible. All right, ladies. So we are going to go into our last two sessions of the day, and this will wind us down. Okay. You've done a lot of learning today, a lot of note taking today. Great job. Okay. And so the last two sessions will center us, right? It'll make sure that we can sleep tonight without our heads racing. Okay. That is not the goal. It's December. We need to wind down. So thank you for rocking with us up through this point. Okay. We are going to go into our last two sessions. No journaling today, just two sessions with founders and experts, right? Really helping us to center ourselves. So up next, we have Alyssa Silva, who is giving a session called Your Soul Purpose. And she spelled soul, S-O-U-L. Okay. And then ending the day, we have a beautiful spirit by the name of Denicia, and she is giving a session called I Am Perfect. And she is a doctor, and she is prolific. Okay. Oh my goodness. So see y'all on the other side. Love and light to you. And this is wrapping the day. 1 hour left and we're done.
Hello, lovelies. How are you? How's everyone doing today? Thank you so much, Casey and Blaze, for having me here at this conference. I'm so excited to be here and excited to be speaking today to all of you. Now, my name is Elisa Silva, and I am the CEO of Alpha Alchemy LLC. I am a spiritual counselor and coach, as well as a certified astrologer, intuitive card reader, and quantum Reiki healer. I help flustered women find fulfillment, joy, and relief through discovering their soul purpose. In my work, I love to begin with analyzing natal birth charts because there's so much wisdom in them, and I'll get into that a little bit today. I also help people release money blocks, unravel their karma. I help people complete their assigned soul promises, their life lessons. I love working with the nervous system regulation. I help with deconditioning the mind and the body in order to create your desired reality, because we are ultimately creators of our realities. Okay. And I'm also a first generation Cape Verdean American. Both of my parents were born and raised in Cape Verde, a group of islands off the coast of Northwest Africa. So a lot of you lovely ladies in Africa right now who are streaming this can relate. Okay. Now, if you see my eyes darting around during this little talk, just know that I'm following along with some notes that I have today. All right. And before we begin, I'd like to set the stage. I'd like to begin with a story, and I would like everyone to put away their notebooks, put away your pens, and just sit with me. Just sit with me. You can always rewatch this later or get the recording from me or from Casey. So just sit and listen and feel the vibes. Okay? So let's get into the story. Now, as a little girl, I always felt really different. I felt a bit homesick. It was like I was in this world, but not of it. And that felt really weird in my body as a child. Right? I related to my family, our Cape Verdean culture, and I attended a predominantly white private school from 6th grade to 12th grade, where mostly everyone was wealthy. And at that time, it felt really hard for me. I felt really different. I felt like I didn't belong. You know, that story that you hear about the Black girl that didn't fit in, that really felt like me. I sort of just went through feeling like I was wearing a mask and pretending everything was okay. My mom and I, when we talk about it, she always says, you know, I thought everything was great. You seemed so happy. And, you know, I did. I was doing my thing. You know, I was getting good grades and I was trying to make friends. So, you know, some of you can relate to this experience. And around 5th and 6th grade, when I entered this private school, my parents were getting a divorce. And that was really, really hard on me. But I essentially pushed those feelings down, and I performed well in school. I got really, really good grades. I met my high honor roll every single semester. And I didn't know it at the time, but that was my way of seeking love and bringing peace in my household. It was the one thing that as a kid I could control. Get good grades, show them to mom and dad, and then try to bring some safety to the situation, some control to a situation that felt really out of my hands. Okay, so fast forward over the next decade or so, I continued doing my thing. I got good grades, I played sports. I did my best to feel comfortable in the different friendships that I had and in the environments where I stuck out in every classroom and every hallway. And I had both good and bad experiences in relationships as well. I learned a lot with friendships, different partnerships, romantic relationships, both good and bad. Okay, but nevertheless, I couldn't shake the feeling of internal isolation. And this feeling like there was more to this life than I was being told. I just knew it. I knew it in my soul. Something is off. Like, I'm here, I'm chugging along. I love my family. I love my culture. I love, doing certain things, but like, what's the point? Like, why am I here? Where did I come from? I always felt this internal feeling of like, there's more going on and no one is telling me. Okay. And here is when everything changes in my story. It was sophomore year of college. I went to Boston College, go Eagles. All right. And I was a sophomore in college. I had a random roommate and she happened to read tarot cards, which blew my mind. She offered to read for me and the reading was spot on. It blew my mind. I was like, there's no way that you just read these cards for me and gave me all this guidance and pulled all this wisdom out of nowhere. Okay. And it was exactly what I was seeking. Someone or something to give me guidance on my path. You see, I had felt this fire in my stomach and I had this vision in my head and it was there my whole life. All right. I was always just had this inkling that there was more on the way and that it was my destiny and more was coming. I was meant for something bigger. It was just fire. I didn't know what it was at the time, but I knew that I felt it. And I knew that I had the vision in my head of where I wanted to be. And I knew that somehow I would get there. Okay. But at the time I was asking the questions, why am I here? What is all of this happening for? What's my sole purpose? How am I supposed to fulfill it? Right. So from that moment, I had gone and I got a tarot deck and I began learning and mastering tarot on my own and building the confidence. I started to quietly do it on my own for a while. And then my family started getting involved a little bit, some friends, coming out of the closet in that regard. All right. And eventually I did feel that I mastered it. I took courses, I got certifications. All right. And then I found Reiki. I began those studies and got those certifications. And then astrology came in and blew my mind. It blew the whole roof off. Okay. Now I'm going to show you what an astrology birth chart looks like. And I'll be pulling that up now, just so you have an idea of what I am talking about. Okay. So this is an astrology chart. Getting my screen in order. This is an astrology birth chart, okay? And in your chart and my chart, I was able to see my soul essence, my character, my life lessons, my promises, the karma that I was given to learn, the lessons, specifically to my parents' divorce, all right? This isn't my chart, but this is one of my old clients. I could see the karma that I was given. I could see the energy around money, the energy around love, the energy around career. I could see my life themes. I could see the gifts that I was given. Okay. And I know this through the chart. I can explain in the best way without that much jargon so you can understand what you're looking at. This X in the middle is exactly where you were when you were born. This is you coming out of the womb. And this right here, this line that goes straight across is the horizon line when you were born. All of these little symbols are planets. This is the moon, this is Uranus, this is Jupiter. These are planets. So if you took a telescope and you put it up in the sky when you were born and you looked, these are the planets that were up in the sky and you could see them. And anything down here wouldn't have been in the horizon. Okay? Now, you can use this as a little cheat sheet to see, right? This is the sun, there's a sun symbol, okay? And this person was born at 8:10 in the morning. So of course, the sun symbol is going to be above the horizon line because the sun had already risen. All right, now everything on the outside, these are the zodiac signs, which are just star constellations. Okay, and again, these are the symbols. These numbers are called degrees. You don't have to worry too much about those. That would be my job. These red lines are the karma that you were given. And this is super important, excuse me. This is super important because you have to overcome your karma in order to really step into the person you're meant to be and to fulfill your soul purpose. Right? It's all these challenges. So when I have clients, this shows up as like black sheep of the family, anxiety, depression, fear of being seen, anything like that. Okay. And it's different for everybody. And the blue lines represent your gifts that you're given in this life. And there's a few other things in the charts that I would pull from. But just to give you the rundown so you have an understanding and it's not complete gibberish when you look at it. All right. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Okay. So in my chart, I was able to see all of the things I just listed. And it was amazing. All the information was so spot on and it blew my mind. It was like the biggest key to my kingdom, the secret cheat code that I was looking for to provide healing and guidance and answers. My Leo rising and my Aries midheaven told me that I was literally meant to be seen and heard in my life and in my career. So I had to overcome that old fear of being seen, that fear of abandonment, the fear of rejection. I had to go in and dig through the layers and work through that in order for me to step into those qualities of who I came here to be, in order to start magnetizing and attracting all of my desires, everything of the vision of the person that I've seen in my head ever since I was a little girl. All right. My Venus conjunct my Neptune told me that I had to be careful not to have rose-colored glasses in relationships, because that Neptunian fog, which rules dreams and illusions, was holding hands with Venus, the planet of love. Now, this made sense for me when I discovered it as to why I had stayed in an old toxic partnership. And it helped me to stay away from that pattern because I knew it existed in my chart. It made sense. Okay. My sun in my 6th house of Virgo and my Virgo North node told me that I had to bring discipline into my endeavors in order to make a way for myself. I had to combine the spiritual with the mundane. And my missing element of earth told me that I had to make friends with money again. All right. And I had to accept the earth life responsibilities, friendships, taxes, all right? Any of those things that I personally wanted to ignore for so long and just like live in Pisces land. I have my South node in Pisces, which means my past life, I was a Pisces and that was my default. I loved escapism and dreaming and meditating and just going off and being alone. But now I'm in this life to combine them, which makes sense. Having a spiritual business, making friends with money so that I can accept money as a form of energy exchange, right? All of the things. So when I began mastering astrology, I just knew that people needed this information. If taught and utilized correctly, it was pretty much guaranteed to change your life, and it changed mine. So I made myself a promise. I promised to alchemize my shadows into light and to put my efforts and focus and love into fulfilling my soul purpose and to becoming the alpha woman I had always envisioned, and then to help other women do the same. This is where Alpha Alchemy was birthed, a beautiful spiritual counseling and coaching business built with integrity and love to ignite your inner alpha. It is time for the alpha woman within you to rise. In fact, we are in a new era, and it's called the rise of the feminine. You can Google it. It's a thing. All right. It is a magnificent time to be a woman. We are healing, activating, becoming aware of our true power, embracing our magical nature, breaking out of matrix codes. All right. We are in a matrix. Stepping into our abundant birthright and freaking shocking the world with our brilliance, our magnificence. Okay. I want to be a part of your journey, of our journey as amazing, wonderful, brilliant women. I want you to heal. I want you to have access to the resources that you need to become the woman you know you were destined to be. I want you to understand concepts like nervous system regulation and subconscious belief work. I want you to know that your body must feel safe. Literally, your body must feel safe in order for you to expand into more money, more love, more freedom, more. It has to feel safe and allowed. And I want you to understand those concepts. And I want you to know how to utilize them and to get your body to feel safe for you to be able to have the things that you desire. Okay. I want you to understand that you exist in a permanent state of abundance and that it is your birthright. I want you to understand that you are a creator of your reality and you can have anything that you want, but you were programmed to believe otherwise. For instance, many of us were taught that we had to work very hard to receive money because we watched our parents struggle and strive for us. Not only that, but we saw how much they would pride themselves on that struggle. So now we live in a paradigm, right, where we must struggle big time to be worthy to receive the money we want. But why can't it be easy? I want you to understand that you no longer have to subscribe to the stories that you were given. You get to rewrite your own. I want you to understand that you learned what love was from your parents and your household and your environment. So if you find yourself in unhealthy situations, the root cause is likely to be a childhood wound. Getting to the root will help you break free. I want you to know that there is more for you, that the fire in your stomach and the visions you see in your head of what you desire already exists. There is a version of you who has it in your highest timeline, and it is our job to find her. You are one and the same. Anything is possible here. The world is really your oyster, and it is time for you to rise. Beautiful, beautiful woman, beautiful, beautiful woman. It is time for you to rise. You are incredibly powerful, more than you know, all right? And it is time for you to stand in that truth. So with that being said, if you would like to hold hands as we walk together into your highest timeline, I would love to give away a free session to anyone here to discuss any blocks you feel are currently sitting in between you and the woman you know you are destined to be. I also have a free newsletter. So you can send me a DM on Instagram or send me an email and I will add you to the list. I'll get you booked in with a free session. Okay. And you can also subscribe to that newsletter on my website, alphaalchemyllc.com. And, thank you everyone for listening. I want to leave you with this. I want you to know that if you have a desire, it is there for a reason. And that as much as you crave the visions that you see in your head, they crave you with that same intensity, if not more. Okay? Trust in your visions and make those moves, sis. I'm sending you all of my love, and I will see you in our Q&A session. Bring me all of the tea and all of the questions. I am so excited to speak with you very soon. All the love.
Incredible. Incredible. Alyssa, thank you so much, sis. The chat is on fire, and I want to make sure that I get as many questions pushed through to you as possible. Okay, so
Yes.
if you're ready, I'm gonna start. You ready?
I'm ready. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you well.
Okay, great.
Okay. They didn't even cue them up yet, sis. Okay, so I do have a person with their.
In the comments. I'm so
I
excited.
have people with their hands raised, but we don't have a lot of time. So let me get the Q&As first, and then we'll see if we can get to a hand raise. So Winnie says, I just want to say thank you, Alyssa. I'm over here crying from feeling so seen. Ashe. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe.
Oh, my love. I
Ashe.
know. I know. One thing I
Alyssa,
love. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say one thing I love about astrology is that, you know, when I look at a chart, it's literally a picture of the sky when you were born, and it gives you so much tea. It's like, I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, like this is exactly who I am. I was supposed to be this person. It's literally written in the stars. So it's like, you go through this life struggling or like going through X, Y, and Z, and it can feel really heavy. But just to know that like you're on time and things are happening on purpose brings such a deep sense of relief and comfort.
Ashe. And Alyssa, honestly, so many people have raised their hands, so they just want to talk to you. They don't. They want to do more than just have questions. So I'm gonna pull them on the stage. I want to try to get to as many people as possible that raise their hands. So if you could say what you want to say in like 60 to 90 seconds, I would appreciate it. First, it's you, Shauna. The mic is yours, Mama. Uh-oh, Shauna, can you hear me?
You gotta unmute, girl. Waiting on you.
All right. So love you, Shauna. Love you, and I mean it, sis. Now, okay. I'm about to kick it over to Erica. Erica, the mic is yours, Mamacita.
Hi. Casey. Oh my gosh, has it been 6 months? Oh my goodness, it's been a long time. I feel like just yesterday I was at the June Summer Summit. I just want to get up here and give you guys your flowers. You guys are so amazing. Casey literally has carved out a space for women who not only walk and talk like us, but look like us in business. And I just want to get on here real quick and say that, you know, don't give up, because 6 months ago I was just an attendee and now I am a vendor at this summit because of the opportunities Casey has provided for all of us. And I want to say, visit my booth, 24 Pressure Press-Ons LLC in the Black Buy Market. We are having a speed networking event today and tomorrow at our tables in our booth. And I also have a giveaway going on for our Black Girl Magic collection. So we'll be giving away 4 sets of nails on Christmas Eve. So check that out. Thank you so much. Thank you for pulling me up on stage again. It was so nice to be here.
Thanks, Erica. Appreciate you. Ashe. Okay, so I'm going to put up a question for you, Alyssa. This one is from Kathy, and she says, Virgo Sun and Leo Rising. How do I bring out my inner lioness?
Okay, we love a Leo rising. I'm a Leo rising, so I know this energy pretty well. I definitely think embracing the element of fire is super important, right? So we're all missing an element: fire, air, earth, or water. I'd have to look at your chart to see which one you have. But knowing that you have a Leo rising, that's the energy of your soul. It's who you want to be expressed, and it's the energy you're meant to rise into more and more as time goes on. So embracing your fire. A Leo loves to be big and bold and have their own dramatic flair. They love to dress up. So find something that you feel really beautiful in, really sexy in, and allow yourself to embrace that energy and sit in that energy until it feels safe and it feels natural for you. Okay, and Virgo sun signs. I love Virgo. I have my sun in Capricorn, but it's in the 6th house of Virgo. And Virgo is all about discipline, all about health, taking care of yourself. So make sure that you are being disciplined with your health. Make sure if you're exercising, you're moving your body. Make sure that you're putting good things in your body so that you feel good on the inside and feel good on the outside as well. And just know that you are a lioness. Like, have that confidence and that spunk to just be the amazing woman that you inherently are. It's literally your essence.
Ashe. Okay, I'm gonna try to flip as many of these as I can, Alyssa. So the next question is coming from Tiffany Brown, and she asks, "Is there a certain website to look up your natal chart?"
Yes, astro.com is the only site I use, the only site I recommend. You can go to, I think it's like natal charts and calculations. You will need your birth time, your birth city, all that information so it can be as accurate as possible. Definitely your birth time is important as well. So as close as you can to getting that from your birth certificate would be my recommendation.
Ashe. Okay, so I can only bring up one more, y'all. I can only bring up one more. I won't be able to pull anyone else on stage, but the next one is coming from Sequoia, and she says, "Thank you so much. So I have a placement in my 11th house that isn't the best with groups. Any advice on building communities, or is this more a question to look at my chart?"
Yep, I would have to look at your chart. The 11th house is a house of Aquarius, which does have to do with communities. So I'm not entirely sure what you mean by it isn't the best with group, because it is a community house. So I would need to see your chart and sort of see what your experience is, and then I'll be able to answer that better. And you can also, you guys, send me DMs. Like, I check my Instagram DMs. If you have questions, blow me up. I will literally be checking over the next few days for sure. So send me all your questions on there.
Ashe. And I'm actually so intrigued by this. I'm so intrigued. I gotta put another one
You
up.
need a
Because
reading.
you're very impressive. Okay.
Thanks.
Anika asks, I don't know if I missed this or not, but do you do charts for businesses?
Unfortunately, I don't do charts for businesses. However, I can look in your chart and there's something called like a unique wealth archetype. I can see different areas in your chart that have to do with money and have to do with career. And a lot of times the career is business. So like a lot of times, like in my chart, it definitely shows that I'm supposed to be an entrepreneur. And I know that. So I'll take the different pieces that are in my chart and I'll combine them to point me in the direction that I need. So there will probably still be a lot of answers in your own personal chart that relate to your business. It just won't be specific to like just your business alone. Hope that helps.
Super dope. We appreciate you so much, Alyssa. This was so enlightening. You have people crying, you have people excited, you have people feeling seen. Bravo to you, sis, and I appreciate your partnership this season.
Yes, this is so fun. Thank you everyone for commenting, participating, like listening and showing up. More than anything in the whole world, it really, really means a lot. So I'm excited. I'm sending all of you love, and thank you so much, Casey, for having me.
Thank you, Mama. I appreciate you. Super dope. All right, y'all. Well, as mentioned, we are winding down the day. We only have one more session left today for day number 4, and it is called I Am Perfect. It will be given by Denicia Hilton Harper. She's super dope, super dope. And I personally enjoy hearing from people who are so smart about the sciences, including Alyssa. This next person is a doctor. So meet me over there. That is the last session of the day. I am perfect. And then you are free to roam. Okay. I'll see you on the other side. Peace.
Hey, y'all. Hello. Hello. I am perfect. Yeah. And actually, you are too. When I came to this conclusion, there was a slight uneasiness, and even at the same time, actually a familiarity, a comfort. I heard it in a meditation or while I was doing something, probably driving, which is when messages usually come to me, and it didn't make sense at first, especially considering how people view being perfect, right? So what did I do? I asked to show me how. And this is when, over time, the gates just swung open. The lights shone with info, awareness of synchrodestinies, people, they just came in, right? And what happened was, as I've been practicing as a doctor of Oriental medicine, working with women, with harmonizing their hormones, things stuck out. And something in particular very much so stuck out. And it was what it was that she was saying. It's what they would say about their symptoms, about themselves, and they could be saying it even jokingly. And at the same time, those statements rang true for them. Things like, I'm a work in progress. Oh, I gotta fix XYZ. I'm gonna get it together. Nobody's perfect, right? Any of those sound familiar to you? And some of these I even said until I realized, right? This is what I heard, though. I heard that she believed that she was broken, and I heard that she believed that she was in need of repair. And then this is what I saw, right? My eyes are closed even when I said I saw. It's because I saw through here was this image of a giraffe's pattern. Yes, it's a beautiful pattern. And it's this pattern with these splotches, with these patches, right? And the thing is, though, in between those splotches and those patches are all of these rivers, there's all of these valleys, all of these openings, all of these spaces, right? That are all there. But what did it mean? Those valleys and those rivers and those openings were also spaces of which it is that she was also going to be seeking to fill them to feel whole. So then what would happen is she opened herself even unconsciously to bringing in others, to bringing in activities, whatever it is that were distractions that would actually fill her, to fill in those spaces, to fill in those gaps, right? To feel whole, to come together. Because our innate nature is to be whole, is to feel whole, right? So while she felt like her needing to get it together was true for her, I'm going to tell you the truth. And yes, there's a difference. You are already whole and complete right here and right now. You are perfect. The root meaning of perfect is actually whole and complete. It's oftentimes mistaken that perfect means flawless, and that is not the case. It really is that whole and complete. And so I would like to imagine a diamond, right? Yeah, sure, everybody, the cliche, it's the pressure that creates it, right? There's more, though. There's more to that story. The markings are also a part of that diamond and the story. That those markings are their story. The clarity is the story, right? It wouldn't even be that diamond without it, without those markings. Notice I didn't even call them flaws, right? They're simply markings. It personalized it. And you know what else? As light is shown through a diamond, those reflections that you see, right, as it points out of it, those are all literally cascading up on a wall outside of it. It's its personal imprint. So not only is it that it's a reflection of its journey up until that moment that it was harvested, right? It's also showing infinite trajectory outside of it through that journey. And that is what I see as you. What you see as flaws are actually part of you and your experience, that as your light shines through you, it has your imprint and is a beacon of light to others. So just as the diamond's markings are showing you how it came into form, what you observe as patterns, behaviors, symptoms are really seen as in response to what's going on around you and within you. Your physical body is literally built in response. And this is why I love working with and understanding hormones. They're like the master communicators, right? And the body. Their role is simply to, this is me saying simply, but it's a very complicated process, right? Their role is simply to assess the environment inside and outside. Then send the messages of what to do to everyone else. Those symptoms are messages. But what are those messages, right? The messages are actually offering insight. And that insight is actually coming from your soul. That is your perfect, authentic self. It's who you really are. And those symptoms and the conditions, they're actually invitations for you to begin to come in, listen, and to interpret. This is what I would see with women. This is what really changed it for me in the practice. It was this beautiful interpretation, a process, an unfolding of what her authentic self is asking her to be. So all along from training and whatnot, and it's not even to say that it was wrong, I had to go through that process. So here it is that all along I'm thinking, let's correct the symptoms. Let's see what's happening and let's correct it, right? If there's a deficiency, we want to replete it. Like if there's excess, we want to reduce it. And, oh, we got it. We're going to use this herb and all of this, right? And then it dawned on me. I'm like, wait a second. I went into this medicine because this medicine is beautifully seeing people as a whole person, seeing the impact of their life, like all these various aspects of their life and how it's showing up now into what I'm seeing and assessing on the physical form, the mental and emotional form, the spiritual form, right? And so when I realized like, oh, that's not even what I was doing, right? Because like I said, I'm trying to correct the symptoms. I'm going, that's the same thing as Western medicine. And then as I evolved through the practice and I realized like, it's not even that. It's really about seeing those symptoms as messages of the presentation or lack of the authentic self. Is there alignment or not with the authentic self? We needed to become aware and accept and appreciate her totality. Use those strengths. Become aware of what could be lurking in the shadows. For those are the messages and the guiding posts as well. So now you can see that your journey has changed course, right? Because by now you're seeing that you are perfect. You're perfect right here, right now. And when you realize that you're whole and complete, you're actually plugging yourself into source, source being you, which is also a reflection of the greater source. So imagine the mega power that comes from that. I mean, that's like a huge, huge power company, everything, it's all yours, right? And just imagine what could you light up in the world when the light is actually recirculating, like that power is recirculating within versus it leaking out, versus all of these other things plugging itself into you that you're trying to get some power from outside when really it's all within. It's just taking that time and learning and becoming aware using those symptoms, using those conditions of the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual as those guiding posts for you to plug back into source, for you to resource. Intentionally said that way, right? It's embracing all aspects of you. Now reimagine for a moment and open up to the messages of those symptoms and conditions that may be present for you. We might dissociate from the body, right? We praise this mindfulness, which is once again only going in the mind. It's still taking you away from the body. Many of us have experienced some type of experience, traumatic experience to the body where we began to dissociate. If it wasn't through you directly, it may have even been through your lineage. And so now I'm asking you, though, to come into a place where you do feel safe and you feel comfortable, at least in an environment that offers that can guide you into coming into the body, so that then you can foster a different type of relationship with those symptoms and conditions, asking for their guidance and their insight into your soul's journey. They're your great allies to you being your perfect, authentic self. And along that journey, as this journey is now shifted for you during our short time together, thank you very much. Remember that this is a journey. It's not a destination. And your perfect, authentic self is actually a verb. It's a being, not a noun. And then, just like I had mentioned with the environments, like you are literally a reflection of environments. You're responding to that, right? All the time. Be in those environments that honor and fosters your perfect, authentic self. And one of my favorites is that you definitely want to play with it, right? Not only play in the sense of engaging in activity for recreation, which, side note, recreation, I said that on purpose, because that's exactly what it is that you are. You are an infinite creator, all right? But you also want to play as an acronym, tapping into the potential and learning about yourself. As you realize that serious healing ain't gotta be so serious. So if you're keen to playing in spaces and environments that do just that, exploring the perfect authentic self through the lens of the symptoms or conditions as your guiding messages while you're playing, then choose your adventure by clicking on the link in the chat to see what your personal journey could be like. So right here, right now, I invite you to tap into that gallbladder channel of courage, which is really cool because that's exactly what you tap into when you put those hands on your hips. You're engaging courage for yourself. So put those hands on the hips. It is allowed and welcome right now. And you stand strongly and just feel immensely as you say with me, I am whole. I am complete. I am perfect. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Denicia Hilton Harper, Doctor of Oriental Medicine, Holistic Wellbeing Consultant. I appreciate you for sharing space with me and allowing me to guide you and welcome you to your perfect, authentic self.
Ashe, Denicia, I could listen to you talk all day long. Your voice is so soothing.
Thank you.
Hello, Mama.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. Yes.
Awesome.
Doing good.
Oh, I could listen to you all day. Thank you for not only being on the stage with us and sharing all of this information, but for closing us out in such a affirming and soothing way on day 4. This has been so beautiful. Yeah, Raven said in the chat. Yeah, her voice is so calming. I say.
Oh, thanks, Raven.
If you have any questions at all, definitely drop them in the chat box. I will show them on the stage so that Denicia can answer them. If you want to come on the stage and say anything audibly to her, you absolutely can. Just hit the hand button and I'll bring you up. The hand button is under our videos, right on the screen right now. As they're queuing that up, Denicia, how did you get involved with Oriental medicine?
So actually, I only was familiar with Western medicine, and I actually wanted to practice neonatology. And then something happened and was like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. And then I didn't. But I had a moment when I was working at a campus here, and it was like, it's time. Like I was in the middle of a cadaver lab, literally on a tour, and it was like, it's time. I heard it. Like, you got to go back into medicine. So I was speaking with a sorority sister, and it was actually her that introduced Eastern medicine to me. And she was just like, if there's another way you could treat patients, would you be interested? And I was like, there's another way? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. And so she's like, yeah, it's acupuncture. And I was like, yeah, girl, I don't like needles. And but we chatted a little bit more, and then I went and did some research, and I just fell in love with the philosophy. I fell in love with the way that it is that as a practitioner that you see people, like to see the influence of their life and how it's playing a role into what we see today, and then with that information, what do you do? How is it that we can position someone to be able to literally activate and move in alignment with our own healing capacities? So all of that is what like sold me on it, and it's just been since then.
Kudos to your friend. Sometimes people see things in us that we don't want to see in ourselves. So I'm so happy you're in this space. We have a question from Yvonne, and she says, can she just adopt me? I know, like it's so safe in your voice.
Yvonne is like, come on, bring it in. It's a big virtual air meet group hug. Like,
I say, Anika said nope. I'm like, keep her talking, Casey. They just, I'm with. This is a good end to the day. It's just like you are so soothing, and just hearing you saying, "You are perfect." Like,
yes.
Okay. We do have a question from Winnie Quick. She says, "Do you have a podcast? Your voice is so soothing. Your voice is so soothing."
Okay, so actually I do. And because y'all are saying this, I'm like, man, doggone it. Spirit is moving through these people because I've been sitting on it with new episodes. So you can actually go and find it, and then you can listen to that first season. Because of this, thank you, Casey, for activating this, and everyone else who's here. I will go ahead and make sure I move that to the top of my list to get season 2, because I've been outlining it and season 3 for the longest. I just haven't actually recorded it. But it is actually called I Am Perfect Podcast. So you can find it on Spotify, Pandora, iTunes. You can actually download the Perfect Playground app, and it's in Google Play and in Apple stores. And there's actually one, you'll see it when you go in there and you log in, and it'll actually say, listen here for the podcast. So what we did was we transferred the episodes over into there. So that way, even when the new one comes out, I can automatically send notifications of saying, hey, season 2's here, take a listen. So yeah, you can find it there.
Yeah, we get to listen to her. We get to binge listen to her voice. Awesome. Okay. We have another question, Mama. This one is from Pakita. She says,
Mhm.
Western medicine has so many disparities. Do you find similar themes existing in Eastern medicine?
Okay, so when you're talking about disparities, you're talking about as far as like providers and diversity or in access or even with on the patient side. I'm not quite sure. So I'm gonna go wing it right now with what initially came to me. So you can see it definitely in Eastern medicine, especially when it comes to practitioners. I will say though, here's a little story to you. I actually had someone tell me when I first started, and I'm like trying to build patient base and everything, you don't look like a doctor of Oriental medicine. And I was like, and what's that supposed to look like? I mean, I was like, what in the world? But I will say that there has been an increase of diversity when it comes to providers. I know that that's very important for many people, especially when it is they may be coming in talking about something that could be extremely sensitive, especially as the medicine's very great at treating trauma in a way that you don't necessarily have to talk it out, where you have to relive it or anything. And that actually was one of my first experiences where I realized, like, oh my gosh, I am totally past this and didn't have to talk about it. But the medicine moved through the herbs and moved through the body in that way. So
Wow.
you'll find that there's that diversity there. And then on the patient side, the I do see a mix, like, because there's some overlap. So you'll have some practices within Eastern medicine that you might find, especially as I started exploring more, especially like into IFA and whatnot, because I like exploring the variety because I want to see just where it is that we all intersect, where it is that we're all actually talking about the same thing. We're just talking
Yeah.
about it through different lenses.
Yeah.
So I see overlaps in so many different ways. I will say that when it comes to disparities as far as access goes, oftentimes acupuncture itself is not covered by insurance. So I do want
Yeah.
to let people know this. Even if it is covered by insurance, there's a behind the scenes thing that only certain things that can be coded can approve it to be covered by insurance. So what you find is then that people are like, well, it seems like it's more out of discretionary income that people can actually access Eastern medicine. And I will say that there's going to be a gamut. So you could literally see people who are doing sliding scale privately, or they're doing community acupuncture, and there's actually a community acupuncture website and everything. There's even
Wow.
Acupuncturists Without Borders that will go and do acupuncture for big trauma cases and things like that, all the way to where it could be like $150, $200, that kind of thing. So when I hear disparities, I think about so many different aspects, and I know that financially there is that issue that's there. So you can actually look at it like that. um, there's also, when you think about access location, so I'll let you know it's state by state as far as what someone's licensed, what they're able to do in their state.
Yeah.
So sometimes you'll find congregations, right? Like I would love, as much as I would love, my family's from Mississippi, and so whenever I go visit, how much it is I know that this type of medicine could do there. But when you look at the state laws and being able to practice, it's like
Right.
you got to jump through a lot of hoops, and then it's still under an MD's thing unless it goes periodically. I'll go back and check. But when you do that, it kind of sets you up to possibly continuing to perpetuate what the disparities are, right? Like if you do it that
Yeah.
way. But like
Yeah.
in Florida, we have a lot more that we're able to do. California, same thing. So you want to kind of look and see exactly where you're at. And at the same time, I do want to say, because you are finding some other ones that are practicing more telehealth, because they're using elements of the medicine. Trust and believe that acupuncture is only one modality within a huge breadth of the medicine. This is why it is that I transitioned out of just needling. I had a teacher tell me anything that moves the chi is a needle.
So
So simply by you listening and talking like me, and you're listening to me, it's changing things. It's changing the way that the chi is actually moving, the way that your mind thinks and all of that, right? So I say this so that you can expand in the way that you think about it, and then how it is that you want to kind of go about doing it, and going about it. And I'm totally open to if there's any particular questions that people might have about certain conditions and whatnot, that you might want some insight on who it is that you're looking for, then like totally hit me up and let me know, because I'm down for that.
Oh, they have it. It's the next question. Wait, did I put the wrong one up? Where did it go? Sorry, they're voting on this stuff, so it's moving in order. Let me try to find it again. I know it's here. Okay. How does Eastern medicine treat perimenopause/menopause differently from Western medicine? Love this question.
I actually really love this question too. So Eastern medicine, big differences. Eastern medicine, we actually look at while you're menstruating. That actually gives us some insight into the transition into menopause. So all of the things that you may have learned, and accepted as like, oh, it's okay to cramp, it's okay with the heavy bleeding, like we'll just give you some like birth control pills or something like that for that. I actually look at that as, we want to harmonize this now so that by the time it gets to menopause, the transition is easier. So when someone does come in talking about that they're in perimenopause or menopause, they're talking about their symptoms, I always ask, what were your cycles like when they were more consistent? Because that gives insight, into the disharmonies. Western medicine does tend to look at, symptom management a little bit more. Eastern medicine's looking at what are some of the underlying implications. Also in Eastern medicine, it is celebrated to go into menopause. That is huge difference. It's a huge difference, because there are also studies that are proving that women's perception of menopause and what happens during menopause actually is affected by their culture's belief of menopause. So if you're in this Western medicine, like anti-aging, kind of thing going on, like, oh, menopause is the devil kind of thing. Like the more and more you're around that can totally shift your experience. And this is not meaning like in a gaslighting kind of way. It can totally shift it. Another thing that you're seeing is that now you'll see like Western medicine is what they would usually do is find an herb, like some herb would have done an amazing job, and then they want to go to a lab, break it down into its constituents to find out what works, and then replicate it. So sometimes that works, but the thing is too is just that like it's within an herb for a reason. Like so the whole talk was the totality, the wholeness. Like there is a reason why all of those pieces are together, and that's why sometimes they'll find that if they were to single something out, oh, it wasn't as effective. Well, it's because it was working with these other elements. So you want to take a look at that. Those are big, huge differences, I want to say, when it comes to it. I will also say too that like you can change it. Like things can change. Just because this has already been your experience, it doesn't mean that it has to stay that way. It can change. And then you just want to be on the lookout if you're going to include herbs and supplements. I always encourage, checking medication usage. And as much as it is that you might set yourself up for your doctor saying something like, I don't know why you're doing that, that stuff doesn't work, you still want to let them know if you are doing supplements or something like that, because it covers you in the sense that you disclose that you were taking those as they were also prescribing something else. Does that make sense? So you have these gates. It's at your doctor's office and at the pharmacy, that technically they're supposed to be checking for counter interactions and things that may potentiate. So it's not just, oh, this will make something not work. It's actually some things will make things work better, like way more. So they may not catch it, but you want to cover yourself to just say, well, I disclosed it. This is what I'm taking and this is how much. So then that way they can also take a look at if there are any interactions there. And then sometimes some interactions that you perceive like are actually letting you know that whatever you might be prescribed is actually, they could lessen it. So that's another thing too, is that as your body's starting to acclimate to whatever changes that you're doing, the prescribed medications don't need to be as high, so they start to come down, slash some just come off. So you'll start to see that kind of going along, you know. And just pay attention to yourself. Please get to know your body and your body's responses. Yeah.
You are just so dope. Literally, you have us all in a trance. Like, yeah, I can't even. It's like poignant in here, but it's not like in a bad way. It's just like so. We're so enthralled. Okay, last question.
Yeah.
This is from Grace, and she says, "This was so amazing. Holistic healing, Reiki specifically, has been so helpful. Would you consider Reiki as Eastern medicine?"
So I will say yes and no. Yes, in the sense that there is a form of Reiki, Usui, that's from Japan. So technically it is Eastern medicine. So when I say no, it's because when I think about like acupuncture, Oriental medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, when we think about the pillars that are involved in practicing the medicine, Reiki is not included in that. So, but that doesn't mean that it's not a medicine, if that makes sense. So that's why I say yes and no. But Reiki can be totally awesome. And if you find like that practitioner that's just amazing and you jive with, then totally go for it. I know that once again, I think about ways that we have access, right? Like some people think that you have to be around someone. But if you find someone who actually has that ability to do distance can work as well. So just in case if you're thinking like, oh, there isn't anyone that I could actually go to, you can do distance. A lot of my my work I actually do as a client, like they do work with me on distance. So I know that it's possible. It's just a matter of you kind of calling in that person that'd be for you.
Super dope. And just to circle back on Pakita's earlier question around disparities, she said all of it, yes. So you answered
Oh,
exactly in the way that she was
great.
hoping you would. And then one
Okay.
more comment to share. Tatiana has given a recommendation for your voice. She says ASMR and or affirmation videos. And there are a lot of hearts around that.
Huh.
So
I kind of
for
like
real,
that. Like,
I'm gonna just say too, because this ain't none of my business, but I'm gonna just say too, if you're thinking about it, especially ASMR, you can get on Alexa or Google Home for free. You can put your voice on there for free, and I think you should. Voice Flow, yeah, go to Voice Flow. Voice Flow will literally allow you to push your own apps for free to Alexa and Google Home, and I would listen to you all day. That could be a great way to market your business in a way that it doesn't seem like marketing because you are lit.
thanks. You know what's funny is I was looking in my email everywhere and I couldn't find it. I was like, I could have sworn I read a blog post of Casey's that talked about voiceovers. It was so like I feel like it was a part of a bigger blog post of like side something, or I have no idea. And I didn't
Maybe.
save it. And I was like, what? I can't find it.
Voice
Because I was thinking about it.
Flow. I think that's your intuition. I think this is a full circle moment. I think it was your intuition, sis. But
Yes.
yeah, you decide to. I could wake up to you in the morning, sis. Beautiful,
Good
beautiful,
morning,
beautiful.
Casey.
Well, I appreciate this. We all do. You've definitely we've closed out every day thus far with journal sessions, like journal sessions to wind down. And this was the perfect end on day 4 with like we're standing on both feet, we're feeling center, and then you just I don't even know what to call what you did, but you've awakened us. Yes, you've awakened us to the fact that we are perfect, we are whole, and that we don't have to do what we've been indoctrinated with. There are other options and natural ways to be more aligned and healthy. So thank you so much, sis. So much.
You're so welcome.
Super dope. Y'all definitely follow Denicia. Definitely go to blazevirtualsummit.com/freebies to get her freebies. Tomorrow is the last day. And a beautiful thing is, if y'all liked this, and this was a Blaze Talk, she's doing a workshop tomorrow. She's actually the last speaker session of the day tomorrow, right before we close out. Okay. So you will hear more of her. You will hear more from her tomorrow. So keep it locked. And that concludes day 4. We're really done. And again, today has been about big founder energy, not in a way that's stressful. Okay. We'll save that for the summer summit. Okay. But in a way that awakens you, right? And lets you know how much agency that you have, right? And to let you know it's okay not to listen to them people. You're not crazy. Somebody said in the chat, they always said they were loony because of how centered and grounded and close to the earth they were, right? You're not loony at all. You are awake. You are enlightened, right? And that's what this is about. Tomorrow, it's over, okay? Tomorrow, the summit ends. We actually have, for the first time ever, a headliner. I will not be closing up the summit like I typically do with the speaker session. We actually have a headliner who is going to take us there. I'm so excited about it. And we have a different DJ tomorrow. The headliner is Ohavia Phillips. She is incredible. She is in Charlotte. She is the in-house arena host for the Charlotte Hornets, as a matter of fact. Okay. And we have a DJ set that closes out the end of the day from Charlotte, a DJ from Charlotte. Her name is DJ Fannie Mae. She's super cold. Okay. So tomorrow will be a celebration of everything that we've experienced. We will still have sessions. Okay. We will still learn and be edified, but tomorrow is the end. So I thank you for rocking with us. I appreciate you all so much for everything that you have poured into this day. Be sure you have time tomorrow, but be sure if you have anything you want to share and leave, right? Be sure to submit a testimonial. Okay, it's in the feed. It's in the feed. The link is in the feed. I will make sure to pin it so that everybody can access it pretty easily. It'll be up tomorrow too. I just pinned it. Okay, it's at the top of the feed, but you click that link and you will literally be able to leave a video testimonial, right? Of what this experience has been like for you. Okay. PG said, well, you should give us our closing song now then. I gave it already. I think I gave it on Tuesday. Who was in here? Del PG. Didn't I sing Cranes in the Sky? I really did. I really did. It might have even been Monday. I don't know. But I did. It's on somebody's replay somewhere. I appreciate y'all. No, I did, PG. Neff knows. Neff heard me singing it. But be sure you go by the booths in the Black Market. They will continue to be there today. They will be there tomorrow as well. Then after this, the summit area closes, okay? I'm gonna close us out. I'm literally gonna close us out after this, okay? I'm gonna just sing us out for PG because I can't say no to her, but I'm gonna do like a church benediction. I hope I get these words right because it's been a long time. It's something like may his peace be with you till we meet again. May his peace be with you till we meet again. Till we reach that promised land and we're walking hand in hand. May he give you strength to stand till we meet again. Till we meet again. All right. So until tomorrow, I hope that his peace stays with you, that her peace stays with you. And I love y'all deep. I mean it, okay? Enjoy the lounge. Enjoy the Black Market. Enjoy communing with each other. We'll do this again for the last time for the Winter 2022 Summit, bright and early tomorrow. Peace. Bye.